Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 138. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite, and I'm one of your hosts, Todd Oxtra, the man who is enjoying the resurrection of his video gaming equipment. Oh my goodness, Mark. The Wave 3 is working again, and I have resurrected the 353 PS. I did. I got a new battery. It's bigger. Found out it only charges certain ways, which is okay, but it's resurrected. The company was going, I said, it doesn't work. It doesn't charge and all the things. So they said, well, you can send it back to China. It will take a year. You may never get it back, or we can give you $30. I'm like, I'll take the $30. Thank you. And I bought a battery.
How upfront and honest they were. That's great.
I wonder 100% want to see somebody in China just getting a random box from Todd.
I know.
There's a game. They're like, what is it? They just throw it in the trash.
They just give me an address, which is probably not a real address even. Anyways,
you'll never get it again.
Yeah, it's like, well, we checked your tracking information. It never arrived to us. I'm like, well, let me call up that company.
Middle of rural China, just some poor farmer or something, just like, what the hell is this? I don't know why someone's sending me this stuff. Throw it in the barn with the others, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it probably goes to an Apple chip factory or something like that. Oh, there you go. So I am winning, Mark. Todd is winning right now, so I'm very excited. And Mark, I'm joined by Mark, the Canadian Carabin. Bud,
yes.
How you doing?
I'm great. I'm back in my house. Last night, I accidentally almost killed my wife. So that was fun.
Wow.
Wait, should you be recording this?
Yeah, that's a Netflix documentary.
This can be used as proof?
It's wow. No, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's great. Everything's fine.
Now.
I was working on my Mandalorian armor. So for anyone that's listening that doesn't know, I'm 3D printing and building a Mandalorian armor set. And I'm at the stage where I'm priming and filling in some cracks and stitching things together if I had to print it in 2 different sections or 3 for the bigger arm gauntlet and stuff that I have. And I waited until everyone went to bed, and I opened the window, and I was downstairs. Everyone else was upstairs. But that wasn't enough, apparently. So this filler, lightweight automotive filler stuff, whatever I was using, had a rather strong scent to it, and it triggered my wife's asthma, and we left the house completely. We went to my parents' place for the night because she was just like, I can't breathe. I need to leave. And we were just like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just go to my parents' place and let the house air out. And here we go. So we're back. Yay. And I'm not going to do that in the house anymore. And here we go.
Was this kitchen?
Yeah,
it was in the kitchen. It wasn't. You were we're gonna just mix body filler here and do armor.
Well, okay, it wasn't. No, so it wasn't something you mixed. It was just
Mark. Come on, man.
I don't have a garage. I don't have one, and it was kind of cold. I don't have a great a finished kind of basement or anything.
Gotcha.
And that's where I do a lot of stuff down there, but it was dark and cold, and I was just like, you know what? I have a giant window, literally right there. I can almost touch the window from here. I just opened that up, and I didn't think the stuff was as strong as it was, and it wasn't it was poisonous in the house. We had to get out because the people upstairs were dizzy. It's just as soon as it hit my wife's nostrils, it was just instant asthma flare up. So
did you look at did you look at the product and they said probably not for indoor use, home, kitchen use?
It said just make sure it's in a ventilated area. So it was
turn on your kitchen.
It wasn't of the body filler ever expected anybody to apply it.
No.
No.
Oh my God.
So that was anyway.
So Lauren actually wanted you to go with her. She's like, you stay in that stinky house, sucker. Let's see if you're alive in the morning.
Yeah, she was okay with it. I kind of explained, and she knew what I was doing. She knew, I was like, I'm just gonna. And is it all right if I try to do this in the kitchen? I'll sit right next to the window. I'll just have it open for a second, fill the cracks that I need to, and be done. And she was like, yeah, that's fine. We're upstairs. should be sealed off. Everything's good, but I guess it just kind of, was enough. But it instantly, I came back, I dropped them off at my parents' place and came back here, and the house was like fairly aired out even at that time. So, anyway, so it was the filler primer stuff that I used. Maybe a little too strong. Anyway.
Well, the good news is you don't have to hire a fumigator to kill any bugs because they're already dead. Kill two birds with one stone.
You can come slap some of my Ventura if you've still got any mixed around. You want to come help me finish the body work on my car?
Sure. Yeah. I'll come right down with the can. I still have some of the can left. And
if anything goes wrong with Finn ever in his life, Mark, this will be the point that Loren will point to. Yep. This is what you did to your child. Yep. So enjoy.
His growth is stunted, and the development. Yeah, he's
just glowing.
Stopped.
Yeah.
That's me. That's on me.
Well, the voice you heard, if you're listening, but if you're watching, you do know this gentleman. That is Mr. Donnie Reese from PSVG. Donnie. I asked for someone who loves Nintendo, and you said, I'm off for a week.
I'm on vacation. Go check.
Perfect.
I get to podcast.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. Any reason why you're off for the week? Is it just you just wanted some Donnie time?
I haven't. Yeah, it's been I haven't taken a vacation in 18 months. My staff told me, my HR lady was like, you need to take some time off.
The staff is complaining.
We had an activation a couple months ago that was really tough, where we were on the news, and it was a lot of working like around the clock for several weeks. And during that time, we banked a ton of overtime, comp time, and I was told to take it then. They were like, look, just take some time off. But then when I did, I got sick and was sick the whole time. So I ended up using sick time anyway. So I pushed it off 6 weeks to this week. And I wanted to go to the beach, but it's like the end of the school year. My daughter has a million things to do, so we couldn't go anywhere. So I'm just off a week. I'm just off for the week. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to the movies today. I made an excellent dinner. I got a massage. I'm fresh out of the hot tub. Nice. Yeah. Playing video games. Like, I'm just chilling. Tomorrow I'm going to take the Roadrunner into the shop. We're going to play with it a little bit, try to make some things work on it and see if we can't do something with that. But yeah, I'm just hanging out this week. So when I saw your post on Threads, which I'm new to, my wife.
Yes, I was wondering if you were there or not, because I looked at like Donnie, he's there. Yeah, fantastic. Because I know you got off the X. So.
I did. I got off Twitter a long time ago. Yeah. I still use it infrequently for the PSVG and the Shack accounts and stuff, but I kind of hate it over there. Yeah. And which is why I left. And my wife, I was using Facebook, and I would share like all of the horror movies that I want to see, and all of these like
just scare relatives
and her relatives are like, is Donnie okay? Like, why is he posting this stuff? And I was like, I need a safe place to post like our things, like our gamer things that we do. So my wife was like, just try Threads. And it's kind of interesting because it's lovely. It's quiet. Like, it's kind of empty. I don't think a lot of people are really using it. I think a lot of people just maybe have it tacked on to their other things.
They just hit a milestone, actually, I think, on Threads.
150 million users.
Wow. Yeah. Well, see, I stand corrected.
Taylor Swift's on there, so you know it's a thing.
of the places that like I typically followed for like horror news or game news, like very few of them over there. Even fewer of my friends are using it. So I'm just like, okay, I'll just come over here and post things that I like and share, and
you just got another follower.
Oh, looky there. I'm growing. Friend. It's all 6 of us.
Yeah, blowing up. 7.
There's dozens of us.
There's
dozens. Good quote.
No ceiling.
But I do. It's very simple. There's not a lot of. It's just like it's. I was trying to think of the right word, and the word that like has come to mind is quiet. It's not so noisy. Like if I click on a link, it's not filled with like 1,000 bot replies and links and stuff. And it's not like constantly in motion and moving, and none of that's there. So, I'm sure we're early, and I'm sure I'll eat these words years from now, but right now is a nice sweet spot. Like, I'm kind of digging it.
There's only 2 things missing so far. No DMs. So you can't DM anybody. You have to go through Instagram, I think, which is a little funky. And the other thing is, on the web, I don't have an easy way to like switch accounts where I can do it on the app. But on the web browser, you have to log out and log back in, which is kind of a pain because when I'm doing like official posts and things, I like to use the web. But if I'm just like conversing and shooting the shit,
I think I'll just stop that. Like if Twitter blows up, I just don't think I'll create other threads. It's like, look, if you found our podcast, you know where you are, and if you haven't, oh well, like we tried, like we gave it a good 10-year run there, and I'm okay with that.
Go to Mastodon and Blue Sky. It's even quieter there.
I'm definitely not like creating a bunch of those. I'm not doing. I'm not trying to hit all the places. So this is specifically for me and my memes and car stuff and video games and horror movies and just me and my little geek culture corner. I
found a lot of Minnesotans there, so I'm enjoying it. They're very cool people.
Threads huge in Minnesota. Go figure.
Yeah, exactly. Who knew? Well, very good, gentlemen. This is going to be a fun episode because this is going to be like a celebration of the Switch and then a look forward to what is going to happen to the world of Nintendo. So with that, Mark, could you thank some very special people?
I absolutely can. I want to thank the special people that follow us and support us over at patreon.com/SeekerFriendsUnite, where you can head over for a free 7-day trial to find out all the goodies, including ad-free versions of all of the Secret Friends episodes, bonus episodes, and a lot more. I want to thank our Friends with Benefits tier, John Sadorf, the Phoenix Sisters cosplay team, Brennan Myers, Matthew Keel, and Corey in HD, as well as our BFF tier, the amazing Nias family, Sean, Stella, and Henry, as well as Missy Merchant. Again, no ads for our Patreon subscribers on top of all the other shows and exclusives and stuff that we do. So if you want to support us, head over to patreon.com/SeekerFriendsUnite. If you don't want to support us financially over there, or you can't, or whatever reason you can't, you don't want to do that, you can always help the show out in some free ways, like telling a friend, sharing some links, leaving us a comment, and joining our Discord, which we'll tell you about a little later. But for now, I want to thank those amazing people over at patreon.com/SeekerFriendsUnite. Thanks.
Very, very good. And just a little bit of a preview. Mark will be joining us for the Spinner Rack on a special episode because we have got May the 4th coming up. We're going to look back at a comic book from Marvel. Well, actually, it was Dark Horse back in the day, but it was Star Wars Dark Empire with an adventure with the OT crew. So stay tuned for that and be excited for that fun look back at a special comic. So folks, just sign up for Patreon for free and you can get that episode. So with that, though, we need to get into the really important part of the show, buy, rent, return. It puts fear in the heart of many people. But you know what? This week, I think it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Our buy, rent, return is, once again, looking back at Switch. And that includes the Switch new IP. We actually got quite a few new IP on the Switch, especially, at the beginning of the Switch's life. 1-2 Switch, ARMS, that was a launch title, and they spent a lot of time at that launch. Then we eventually got Labo, which was an adventure into VR, and then also Ring Fit Adventure, which was actually a surprising success. I remember when you couldn't even find a Ring Fit Adventure, it was people were like putting it on eBay and getting like $150, especially during the pandemic when people wanted to work out, and it was a simple way to do it. And I really enjoyed that game. Did I miss any other new Switch IP?
Clubhouse 51 Games. Does that count?
Yep.
Was that a pseudo sequel? Wasn't there one on like a? Was there like a one on like a handheld, Mark? Or no? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna count that as new.
I wanted to look this up. Ring Fit Adventure Switch sales surpassed 14 million in 2022. So that was then.
Wow.
Think of the body slam that Ring Fit Adventure has given the entire Metroid franchise. Just that and then some.
That Luigi's Mansion 3.
It could give Metroid Dread its sales back. It'd be like, hey, you want 5 million sales and still outsell the rest of the entire.
They should have put Samus in Ring Fit Adventure.
That's what I'm talking about. Now you're thinking.
Big miss.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Would you count like Mario Rabbids maybe?
Yeah, I would.
New IP. Another launch is that Was it first? Snipper Clips was first party, wasn't it?
I think it was second party.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It never came anywhere else. But yeah, it was not I don't know if Nintendo owns IP or not. But we got a sequel to that. So yeah.
Okay.
Or DLC at least. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I don't know if there's any other. What's another
sure
Switch exclusive? There's got to be others like Switch exclusive new IP. Astral Chain.
Yes.
No, that's owned by. Does Nintendo own it, or is it?
I think
Platinum?
they do. They own the publishing rights to Astral Chain.
Okay.
It's second party developer, but
Got it.
file that away in the content that they own.
IP.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would count out the 99 series or the Mario. What was the Mario one? Mario 35.
Yeah. Yep.
Those series of games. Those are all unique, new. And unfortunately, some of them have already gone away.
What was the other one
like Pac-Man. Pac-Man 99.
Didn't they buy it? Was it like the... Sorry, my mind is just racing. I didn't mean to interrupt. You're absolutely spot on. It was the Pac-Man 99 craze. And then we had Donkey Kong, and we did the Mario, the F-Zero.
F-Zero.
Yep.
But a lot of those just use old NES, I wonder if, does that count as a new... I don't think it counts as a new IP. Mario's not a new IP. It's just
that's why I was like hesitant to be like
game.
Mario Rabbids. Like,
it's a new series, kind of. I guess.
What was that?
Yeah, it's.
There was a game called. What was it called? I think I'm going to mess this up. Was it called like Stretchers or something like that? And I remember that like Nintendo. I think they bought it. I don't think it's theirs, but I think.
Oh, is that the game where like? Oh, I think I know what you're talking. It's like they would try to rescue people.
Yeah.
And they would bounce or something.
Yeah, and I vaguely remember it being like a Nintendo thing. Like they funded it or they published it. Like they did something with it. Like it was theirs for some reason. And
I remember that was such a weird idea.
Like it didn't come.
It is published by Nintendo,
right?
Yeah,
yeah. Like they found this game that they liked, I guess, and they were just like, we want to buy it.
Yeah,
they bought the Stretcher.
Interesting.
Yeah, because it was developed by. Tarsier Studios.
See, and Nintendo's like, we must own this franchise.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So weird. They're like a Swedish game developer. They've done a ton of stuff for like PlayStation, like DLC for Little Big Planet, and a bunch of other weird little things. And then just like randomly, Nintendo was like, "This Stretchers stuff is the bomb.
Love it.
Let's go."
Yeah.
Yeah. So weird. Nintendo's such a weird company.
Well, you know what? It's funny. It's kind of great that we did get as much new IP on the Switch as we did. Some, we got a second edition of that, but we didn't get we didn't get a second ARMS. We didn't get a second Ring for an Adventure. So we did, but so exactly. I think that's where it's going to, some of these bigger franchises are going to be on the new system when they come out. Cause I think that's just money in the bank. So, so with that, Donnie, you're our guest. Of these three games, what will you buy? What will you rent? And what will you return?
Buying ARMS, renting Ring Fit, and Labo can go.
Wow. That was quick.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
you would hesitate.
I think this one's pretty easy. But I'm interested. Maybe we'll fight here. Maybe you guys have completely different takes. But for me, like that's the logical take here. I loved ARMS. People made fun of it. It had a banger theme, right? Everybody loves that theme. But it was super fun to play. Very competitive. The problem was gameplay style, shallow. Not unlike Strikers or Golf or Tennis. It was very much like that. It like had an exhibition mode that was super fun to play. A little repetitive, not a lot of meat there. I always wanted ARMS to get like mini games, other modes, like something to do besides the 1v1 fight, right? Yeah. But the characters, great, enshrined in Smash, have a great style, like are very memorable, are recognizable.
Instantly iconic.
Yeah, launched in a great window that a lot of people bought it. It's been exposed to a lot of people. If they came out with an ARMS 2, I would legit be kind of excited. Like if they're Amiibo, I'd be like, I would hope that they would come back with a game that has a lot more to offer, a lot more meat on the bone, and it'd be an instant buy for me.
Yeah, and you have to think like any launch title, like you're up against a Zelda game. You've got a system that you can't get your hands on.
Yeah,
the window for that game selling and being exposed, and the longer the Switch went on,
the entire industry of everything else that's also coming out. And here they are with a game called ARMS, like this 3D fighting cartoon game, right? in
That's
a
it.
sea of everything else. And like, I think it stuck the landing. It did what it needed.
It was highly showcased at that original Switch conference. Between that and 1-2 Switch and ARMS, they really focused on like the new things. And I mean, I was looking to see,
showed off the system's capabilities, right? Use the Joy-Con.
Absolutely.
Like,
Multiple
people showed what made
the
Switch different.
Yep.
Everyone thinks about it as a motion control game, but you can play that like handheld with a controller, pro controller, however you want to, right? So,
and the thing that I remember most about it is me and Jason getting really into it for a while. Had some really thrilling, tense matches because you have that dodge, and like when you throw a punch, you're so vulnerable. It became this cat and mouse game of bait and switch. It's different than it's not just a fighting game. It's different, and I mean, I kind of love it, and it's still like pretty sought after. It's still very expensive, even as a used cartridge. Like it's held its value. Yeah, it's underrated.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah, that game is still $60, and you think if they want to get more people into that game, they would.
GameStop's like $56.99. Like you're not going to save much.
No, you're not. The lobby in that game and the game too was really cool. Yes. I thought that was really innovative, and I don't feel like they really built on that. I think that was something they should have built upon and did more with because
I forgot all about that. Yeah, you're right. When that happened, I think everybody was like, the next Splatoon game will be just like this. And it never happened. You just jogged like so many memories just came back.
Yeah. I mean, the key to these type of games, I really wish what Nintendo would just go all in, and they don't do this at all, but just make it like the stupidest like storyline in the world, like a Mortal Kombat or Injustice. And just create these ridiculous cutscenes where the teams, they build these character personalities up. They build a ridiculous story. And I would have loved that because that's my favorite thing in fighting games is just the like goofy, like, I've got to save the universe from Ringman and all this stuff. And people were really horny for that one chick. Was there Bandette?
Oh, yeah. I remember her.
Was that her?
Twintel.
Oh, that's right.
I haven't played this game in years, and I remember the game. They were like, they were horny for something. Like, oh, now you're talking my language, Todd.
Tony's like, did he find my fan fiction?
Put Twintel in Smash.
The Min gets dropped into Smash just randomly. She's a great character.
Oh, yeah.
It had like, it wasn't like Ribbon Girl or Spring Man. It was just Min.
It had the Overwatch vibes, which is kind of all the rage.
Absolutely. Very bright, colorful characters. Yep. Yeah, that's a game that I think, deserved better and could have been refined and built upon. So I'm hoping it's not gone and forgotten. Nintendo EPD made this game, a very big development house who does a lot. So maybe they're too busy. Maybe that's the thing. They're just too busy and they couldn't come back and iterate what they did
somewhere. They're notorious. Like there's like 8 studios that fall under that label, and they're all doing different things. They mix and match. That's the secret sauce at Nintendo. And like, I'm not surprised if there's probably 20 games on a shelf there.
Yep.
They've just worked on and they haven't released yet. And they're just sitting there and like, they just got stuff ready to go at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. They also developed Everybody 1-2 Switch, and that's the game they put out.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, well. Mark, your turn.
You know what? I got to copy Donnie's answers. And ARMS is seeing a resurgence in my house. We have been playing hell out of ARMS for the last few weeks. My son's obsessed, and he instantly can understand the motion controls, and he's getting better at things like dodging and learning when to punch, when to throw, when to do grabs and all that kind of stuff. It's awesome. And it's a game that he can get. He also wants to play Smash Brothers, and I just turned my my damage up to 300%, and it's a little bit more evenly matched. It's fun.
Yep.
That's what he wanted to do. One match of Smash Brothers tonight before bath time, and I was like, "All right, we're gonna settle this right here." And he kicked my ass. So maybe I got to go down to 200% damage or something like that.
Just make sure he's got those straps on his wrist, Mark, or you're gonna have a broken TV.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Always strapping the Joy-Cons in my house. So I have to say ARMS for all the reasons we just talked about. Number one, very close second though, Ring Fit Adventure.
Really?
Just because it's goofy Nintendo gamifying working out in a way that no one else did. Like everyone's trying to gamify working out and all that kind of shit. It's like, hey, log your daily bonus for 6 workout bucks and you can get $600 workout bucks gets you a new avatar thing for your app. And it's like, no, Nintendo just straight up went and made like a workout game with a demon and a
RPG.
possessed ring. And it's like, yeah, like who the, like, come on. Nintendo just, made a working out RPG that works and is fun. And like,
and is actually a workout.
Yes.
Like not Wii Fit, not like a, do like a little thing and squeeze off the board, like a, fling your wrist and like it's a
no
whole
Pilates.
thing. No,
just sit there
I think the
doing
thing that
this.
surprises people is if you've ever played Ring Fit, it'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
It's a legit workout.
Yep.
Those characters from Ring Fit better be in the next Smash, because if Ring Fit or if Wii Fit Trainer got in there,
well,
no,
100%. So that's second. My return is Labo, and I respect what Nintendo tried with Labo because it was, again, something weird and stupid that only Nintendo's going to do. It wasn't just VR; it was a bunch of different weird accessories, and like a steering wheel and this and that, and like any Lego kid. It was way more fun to build these pieces and follow along with the instructions than it was to play any of the mini games that you played once and you were like, okay, cool, that's a bazooka. Okay, cool, that's a fishing thing or whatever.
Piano Man.
You're a robot.
I never got
robot.
the piano.
It was pretty.
Robot was.
It was pretty intricate. Like really.
Yeah.
There was a lot there. It was very detailed. I was going to ask a qualifier. Would you include like the Game Builder Garage under like this IP?
I mean, Game Builder Garage was a new IP, and it was
an
refinement.
adaptation off of Labo, though. Like that
absolutely
whole Labo thing was that. It's like a pseudo sequel.
Yeah, and I've heard it's like from a lot of developers, they say this is actually a great my first game development tool, which is cool. It was $3, I think.
Yeah, and that was just a nice little thing to dink around with. The Blaster game was fun. I like Labo. I have it. It's actually sitting right off the stage left here. But do I want another Labo kit? Not really. Like I don't have a lot of interest for it. It's very short-lived. There's not a gamified experience there like Ring Fit offers. Yeah. I also don't think it took off. Like it didn't do what I think they wanted it to do. And it's ultimately it's very nature of the cardboard. It's temporary.
Yeah.
You're very limited to how much, work you can get out of that thing unless you just keep it pristine forever.
A lot of people went to Best Buy because Best Buy had huge deals and all the Labo was on clearance and they just bought it up. So I think it's something in 15 to 20 years. It will probably be it'll probably be valued just because anybody who put theirs together, it's probably disintegrated. Yeah. So maybe you hope your cardboard's still okay. But to your point, unless 3D print Labo kits, would that be interesting? Would that be cool? I guess you could.
I could totally see that.
Mark?
Yeah.
Can you do that? Can you 3D print me a Labo kit?
No.
Can you 3D print me?
It'll probably cost $600 worth of filament.
I was going to say that is going to be a lot of filament and a lot of I don't have a big printer, so it's going to be just
85 pieces.
Yeah.
Permanent replacements for the Mario Kart Live, like gates and stuff.
Yeah.
Permanent fixtures for all of those things. So I can race.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That one would probably be a better 3D print.
That's a better spend. Yeah, that's a better spend. Very, very cool. So I will, before we get to mine, I'm going to hit on the Winter Gamers thoughts. So thanks, Brendan. He says, buy ARMS. That theme music is fire. Agree. Rent Ring Fit Adventure because I don't want to work. What? Because I don't want to work out. Why would you buy? Why would you rent it? Wouldn't you just return it?
He's trying it for a second, then he's just.
Okay.
I've experienced this, but I don't want to permanently work out. I think is
you want to rent it because say I gave it a try, even though you didn't. You probably didn't take it out. It's I tried it. Return Labo because it's neat for a minute, and then he is a smart guy. He says, as a dad, buy Labo to play with Mia. This is more like you doing your dad duty of trying to make your kid better than they should be. Rent ARMS would be a good way to get kids' energy out without playing with her. That's a good idea. Give your kid something to do while dad relaxes because he's tired. And he says, return Ring Fit because being a parent is a workout. True. Yeah, and you're exhausted. So why would you, I would say you could give it to your kid too and watch them just go insane, and they might damage themselves by squeezing it or throwing it or something like that. So yeah. Very good, Ren. Appreciate that. Let's see, Mark, do you want to do Famous Seamus?
Yeah, I can tackle this one. So Famous Seamus writes, buy Ring Fit Adventure. This is the only game I've actually played. I've played it for a long time, a couple of years ago. I enjoyed my time with the game, and I felt a little bit more healthy when I played it. I only stopped playing because I couldn't find the time to play it with my work schedule. Yeah, fair. Definitely. It like Donnie said, like it will kick your ass. It actually is a workout. Rent Labo, it's a neat thing, and I wouldn't be surprised if some future game developers are inspired by Labo to become developers. It is
it's
like Google Cardboard. Remember Google Cardboard?
Yeah,
that was the predecessor for it.
Yeah, that's exactly where they got the idea from.
And I mean, we are going to be in an age with like AR technology where those kind of experiences might be a little bit more like, build this out of cardboard, or like 3D print this accessory, or like get this kind of thing. Like,
what if it just comes with like a Lego set or something?
Yeah.
The toys to life thing takes a whole new thing when you talk about AR technology. Imagine when you were a kid and you're playing blocks or building houses or Legos or, Lincoln Logs. And now all of a sudden you put on these glasses and characters are moving and interacting with the things you build. I mean, that's insane. Yeah. But could be the future.
Yeah. Meta just announced they released like the Meta Vision OS or whatever it's called, just like publicly. Like it's just open source now. So like there's a few different people or a few different companies that are already going to be partnering with them to use their software on their hardware. And one thing that I watched like a video that Zuckerberg was talking about, like gaming specific hardware or workout specific hardware that's like super light and streamlined, or hardware that like, again, the gaming specific one was like that could, come in the box with a controller or a bunch of accessories for whatever. And you can kind of see like, where you could go, like you just said, Donnie, like something that it is interactive. You build part of it, and then the rest of it's virtual or AR or whatever. So
I'll never forget that AR E3 demo that Xbox had years ago with the Minecraft on the table.
Yeah,
where they just started pulling an entire world together, and you're actually building with actual blocks. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. So yeah, I can see absolutely Famous Seamus where that could inspire people. And then Return Arms. I will say I like the character designs, but other than that, Arms just didn't look that interesting to me. It kind of reminds me of a more cartoony Wii Sports boxing.
You got to play it, man.
Yeah.
More depth. Yeah, more depth for sure.
No, that's a miss. You got to play it. And
Famous
play it with
Seamus,
people.
let me know next time you're in town. For real?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Let's play some Arms.
See, if you think Wii Sports, I'll counter you. Think less Wii Sports and more Punch Out.
Yeah, absolutely. Because countering, it's strategic.
It's very strategic. It's
Little Mac should have been like a trainer,
100%.
Like, because he would have been like he's training the next generation after Coach. What was the guy's name? What was the guy who trained Little Mac? Was it Coach? He probably died of a heart attack, probably. And then I can't remember his name. Doc Lewis. So he's the new Doc Lewis because Doc Lewis died of a heart attack, like Burgess Meredith and Rocky. Get him, Rock! I love it. Very, very good. Well, I'll give you mine very quickly. It's going to be Ring Fit Adventure because I did use that quite a bit. I loved it. I've got bad shoulders, so doing some of the ring, it wasn't great for my shoulders, but I love the challenge. I love the ability to switch it up and play with it and use power-ups. So I love the fact that they really gamified working out. Loved it to pieces. Still got it. It's fun to do. Now I would say Rent Arms because it was fun. And I just don't typically stick around. I think it needed that campaign mode or something like that. That was kind of like story-based or something like that. Just the I think it needed more, and hopefully that we'll get more of that because I like fighting games, but I like a campaign and a fighting game.
It's like I always thought. Sorry to interrupt you. I always thought, like Street Fighter, you play the campaign, you get these little cutscenes. They're just like stills, but they give you the story. Yeah. But in between the fights, you could like break up a car, break up the barrels and the boxes. Like that's
show your might, right?
Missing. It needs like a target mode and like an impact mode and a strongest like punch mode. Like just add in some simple little 1-2 switch mini games in between the boxing and give it a campaign, and like that game is a massive hit.
And there were a couple of mini games. Like there was a basketball.
It was the basketball one, but it was shallow. Like it was
needs Tekken volleyball, needs Tekken bowling, needs those type of goofy, ridiculous things that just make you go, yeah.
I go straight to like in the workout scene, there's tons of these like punch target things with like the lights up and you hit it and it's like a target practice, almost like a Link's crossbow training thing. Do something like that with arms. Have like a shooting gallery where you throw your arm out and you have to time it to like where it hits and stuff. And I'm like, this makes so much sense. And it trains you to be better at the actual game. Stuff like that would be super fun. Or like, what if there was like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots? Like I've given way too much thought of that.
You get yourself in a smaller ring where it was like you're constrained. Yeah. Or make them punch out mode, right? Like that, boom. And then it's like, oh, we've got characters from Punch Out brought in to bring in Punch Out because we haven't seen them since the Wii.
Super fun. Could you imagine if they actually did like a level of Punch Out, but you were just Min?
That'd be great. Like, I'd love it.
People would lose their minds just over the nostalgia alone. They get so excited.
Yep. There's a lot there. So hopefully it comes back. And lastly, instead of return, I'm going to say gift Labo, because that's exactly what I did with my Labo kit. I gave it to Sean Nias' son, Henry. I never even opened it up. I'm like, why did I buy this? Henry. So I gift. That's a new term. You can just give it away. Something you don't want. It's like a regifting. It's new to you. So it's a gift. So there we go, folks. Buy, rent, return. Thank you, Switch, for all the new IP you gave us. Hopefully some of them will return in the next iteration of Nintendo's console.
Stretchers 2, baby. Get
launch title.
I want Excite Bike 99, baby. Yeah.
I want that like so built up, like platform exclusive. You know, like that. Just like
for it. It was like a developer at Nintendo. They're like, "Listen, guys, I'm telling you, massive hit, right? like huge."
What was that sub game on the 3DS that was like a launch game? It was like, it's going to be the big thing.
Steel Diver.
Steel Divers.
Steel Diver. Where are you? We need you.
Miyamoto is just a huge fan.
Wouldn't like, Steel Diver's been good on Labo? Like you kind of like have a periscope.
So Labo needed Duck Hunt.
Something.
Or Splatoon.
I heard that one shooting game was pretty good, where it was like you were shooting fruit into the hippos or whatever.
It was good. We needed Duck Hunt.
Well, there you go.
If they would have made a Duck Hunt, people would have snatched that thing up.
Where you just shoot the dog?
I think people did it anyway. I think people already snatched that thing up. You know what else needed Labo? Was the Wii U. Labo's very like
true.
Wii U.
Yeah, it is very much like
like the gamepad probably wouldn't have fit, but if you could have fit that in the gamepad, because there were so many games that were doing like off-screen things, off TV, where you would turn around. Think of like Nintendo Land and things like that. That idea paired with a Labo is a match made in heaven.
Dude, Nintendo Land was such a fun little thing.
It was a fun game. Yeah, that Zelda one was so fun.
Like, we were just talking about it on Shack. Like, they got clowned for that at E3 when they announced it. Nintendo Land, and they had like the big stage, and everybody's like, "This is ridiculous." And those games are so much fun. Luigi's Mansion game, the Mario Chase game, that Donkey Kong game. I spent way too many hours trying to get.
I never played the Donkey. I never did the Donkey Kong game.
It's super fun. It uses the buttons, it uses the sticks. You have to blow on the microphone. There are like mechanics in the thing where you raise and lower, like by blowing on a fan. It's tough. Like it's actually challenging. That's the one game out of all of those games that I'm like, just take that and put it on Switch for like $5. Just put the Donkey Kong Crash Course on it and just give us something. But yeah, that game is excellent. It's extremely good of a multiplayer party game.
Yeah. I wish I could figure something out with even using phones or something. Like, just bring that
off screen.
Don't worry, Mark. We'll talk about all of this as we talk about the next generation, because I think there's some ideas to be had to bring about some of the old things and make them new again. So with that, We are going to be talking about the next generation of Switch, Nintendo, where it's going in the bonus round. But before we get there, hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencastr. We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution. Provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencastr because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencastr has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencastr? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencastr's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. So if you're interested in making an easy, high-quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to zencastr.com/pricing and use my code SFU1. You'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experiences I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show. I want to talk about we've actually been gaming. So Donnie, what's been on your playlist, man? You got some time off? Are you like strategic in what you play, what you want to get through? Or is it just like, I can't figure it out, so I'm just going to play this?
I'm just playing whatever I want to play at the moment. I am kind of bouncing around from title to title. Mostly because I was like knee deep in Unicorn Overlord. It is great. Oh, yeah. I love it. My wife has commandeered my Switch, and she is back on her Animal Crossing grind. She's putting in like an hour and a half every night.
Really?
She really has. And
what got her? What got her in? Is there new news?
I think I brought it up. Rebecca like flattened her island and decided to make a new one.
Start again.
I told that story to my wife, and she was like, I should play Animal Crossing again. And then one day I was playing my Switch, and she was like, can I play Animal Crossing? I gave it to her, and like that was it. And I could never.
Is there only one Switch in your household?
We have two. We have an old Switch and an OLED. And the old Switch it's behind me. It's my No More Heroes Switch. So it's just like custom. Nobody really uses it. It's just kind of like it's a wall ornament. So we just kind of rotate the one Switch. But I am just bouncing around. I'm waiting for Hellblade. I'm waiting for Paper Mario. So I'm just kind of in between games at the moment. I do have something that I'm actually kind of yoked to talk about, though. So this is actually good timing. I have recently bought in on this thing. I'm not sure if you guys have seen it. It's called the Razer Kishi Ultra.
Oh, yeah. So you can use it for a tablet.
It is the new Razer Kishi. If you guys have ever seen those, they're like the little controller adapter that you could use on your phone. And they just
going together.
Is he? He sounds like he just fell down the stairs.
Todd.
I've got things. I fell down the hole.
Things rattle. Jesus. There was glass. Like
I've got the Razer Kishi.
Yes, I have that one too.
Which didn't work on my Pixel 7. It died, so I can't use it anymore.
I have that same one, and I'll raise you. I have the Game Pass version. That only got out
that's crazy. Well, Donnie, I have this. I have the GameSir Galileo. Yeah, which is great. I love it, but it's not big enough to put my Samsung tablet in.
So that's the thing, right? So they came out with this new one. It is fully featured. Let me take it out, and I'll give you an idea of what it looks like without the tablet. So it fits. This is the thing. It's got full joysticks, full D-pad.
Much better design.
It's much bigger. But the sell on this thing, I opened my YouTube up 2 weeks ago, and Kevin Kenson, he does a lot of accessory and controller reviews. He's my favorites.
Love him. The man with the hat.
I open it up, and the man with the beanie is there, and he's like, this is a controller for your iPad mini. Now, I can't tell you how well the algorithm worked and hit me, because I am an iPad mini guy and have always been. My boss bought us an iPad a couple years ago. He bought everybody on the team an iPad, and I specifically said I wanted the mini because
Really?
I'm the Chromebook guy, I'm the Switch guy, I'm the USB-C. I was like, just give me the USB-C. I like the mini. And ever since I've had it, I've not really gamed on it because of controller support. I got to get a stand. I got to sync a controller. Yeah. I don't want to do that. And we have a mobile gamer in our Discord. His name's Daniel. And Daniel and I have talked for years about how an Apple handheld would be bonkers. It'd be great. And how we wish we could use something like this with our iPads. I've even watched videos of somebody like using that Game Sir, where they break it and wire it.
Yeah.
They hack it to make it fit tab. Like there's such a demand for something like this. So I have this one, the new one. It's a little expensive. It's $150.
Ooh.
I sold my Ally. I had the Roger Ally. I sold it. Not for this. I was just selling it anyway because I think they're about to announce a new one. Yeah. And so I'm sitting on like this Switch 2 fund of the money that I raised from the Ally, and I just dipped into it. I saw it, and it was literally an immediate purchase. I saw the video. I didn't even finish the video. I was like, yes. Went over to the website, clicked buy. It showed up a week later. So since I've had it, I've been playing xCloud. I've been playing Life is Strange. I've been playing Hot Shots Golf. One of my favorite mobile games, Retro Bowl. I've been playing the mess out of that. The Devil May Cry mobile game, Apple Arcade. It's interesting. I've been doing the iOS emulation, which was also a big part of this, right?
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah.
I'm lucky that I already had the iPad mini, right? Me telling any of your listeners to go buy it, this thing will fit any USB-C tablet up to 8 inches. So Samsung Ultra or anything. If you already have a device like this and you want to play games on it, I think it's an easy ask even for $150, because when you compare to what the combination of those two products gives you, it's so much better than a Portal. It has native gaming ability.
Absolutely.
I can play Grand Theft Auto. I can play Mad Max. I can play Devil May Cry. I can play all these things on the go. I can stream my Xbox. I can stream Steam Link. I can play all these cloud gaming things. I can do this emulation. More emulation support is on the way. Like if you pair it with Apple Arcade, I have downloaded I have like 60 games on this thing.
Yeah.
And not like Candy Crush. I'm talking like Sonic Racing. There's a brand new Sonic game. If anybody, and I'm not like Mr. Mobile Guy.
It's a good one too.
There's a 3D Sonic game that it's like 3D World, but Sonic. Like Mario 3D World, but Sonic. That's good. And it's
Vampire Survivors on mobile is amazing.
Horizon Chase Turbo 2.
Yeah.
Netflix is just like all of us have Netflix accounts, right? They're just giving away games. You get Grand Theft Auto for free. The Braid remaster that's coming out's free. Death's Door is free. So for $150, I get to tap into all of this on a device I already have that's comfortable, that fits in my backpack, that plays like a full controller. So if you can't tell in the excitement in my voice, I'm seriously kind of geeking over this thing. I'm trying not to have like just the new purchase sparkle, like tarnish my ability to review it. It's just, I click it in and it just works, man. It's got screenshot button. It comes with like the Backbone, which I also
have. It's an app, right?
There is an app. It has the Razer Nexus app. Here's the thing. Unlike the Backbone, it's free. You don't have to pay a charge or a subscription for anything.
Oh, really?
And it just turns your iPad into a game console where you don't have to see the other apps or anything. You just launch everything from it. Now, it's pretty basic, but here is the thing that I've actually kind of loved about this. And I haven't brought this back to PSVG yet. It has got me to buy so many games because when you open up the Razer Nexus app, it gives you like your favorites. It gives you the games you're installed. Then it just gives you recommendations into genres and stuff. It's a curated list of games from the App Store. You don't have to navigate the App Store. I found games I didn't even know were on here. I was like, there's a Rayman game? Like, I'm just like buying stuff. I bought Street Fighter, awesome. A bunch of stuff. Let's see here. High Water, Dusted Neon. I didn't know that there's a Road Redemption, right? Which is like the old school, like dirt bike game where you beat each other off the side, like Road Rash.
Road Rash,
There's games like that are just on the App Store that, unless you really dove through the App Store's list, which, they populate all of the ones that have microtransactions. Like, you got to wade through a bunch of stuff to get there. the Razer Nexus app felt like a curated list for a gamer. Here are the games you need to pay attention to. And I was like, now that's a service that I can actually. So I went through every one of those genres and just bought, like, I'll buy this one, and then I'll buy that one, and I'll buy this one. I must have spent $30-$40 on mobile games just looking through the app. Just like I found 10 or 15 games. I was like, I would love to have this game on the go. I bought retro games. Like, there's a bunch of old Sega games that are on that I didn't know. You buy Streets of Rage 2 and Crazy Taxi. And so the app made that discoverability much easier. So I like it. Like it a lot.
Donnie, is GeForce Now work on that?
Yeah. Yep.
See, GeForce Now, from what I understand, is amazing.
Excellent.
It's the best streaming app.
It is.
And you can play like Cyberpunk the best way. As long as you own the game on something, you can just play it automatically.
4 continuous hours of Far Cry 5 on GeForce Now. And I tell you, at any point, you would not have known that game wasn't.
That's what people say. It's the best streaming option out there. Yeah.
And Xbox is getting better. I have enjoyed that one lately. It is getting better. And Steam Link is, especially if you're playing like nearby.
Oh, yeah.
A big reason, one of the factors that I wanted to get this is it does turn my iPad into a PlayStation Portal. This is a portal for Steam. Yeah. So one of the things, I've got this big rig here. It plays game excellent. Just sometimes I just don't want to sit in the chair at the desk. I have this beautiful TV. It's not about the setup. It's just, you get tired, like you're working and stuff, especially if you spend a lot of, like, I'm a programmer. I do a lot of things here. Sometimes I just want to go kick my feet up in my recliner. Right. And I usually play console games when I'm doing that. Now with this, I can kick the game off of my computer, connect the Steam Link, literally take my portal over to my chair and just keep playing. And I'm not missing a beat. And I get all the ray tracing. I get all the performance that my computer can give me. I have good internet, so I've never had a problem with Steam Link, at least locally. I've never tried it from work, but I'm 10 feet away from my PC, so it's no problem. Play Cyberpunk, play things like that. So it's like a jack of all trades, like utility knife. It gives me a little bit of everything, because one of the things I've been talking on Shaq for the last few weeks, maybe even the last couple months, is I bought all of these handhelds because 3 or 4 years ago, I was really in that camp that was like, man, I want a new Switch. And all this stuff is taken off. Like, I got the G Cloud. I got a Steam Deck. I bought the Ally. I did all these things. And doing all of these things just led me back to the Switch. Because ultimately what it was from the start, I want a better Switch. I don't want these other things. I want my Switch to be better. That's what I want. All of these other things scratch that itch and they do some things. But like for the Ally and the Steam Deck, I don't want to have to install 190 gigs of PC game to play it at the worst possible settings just to make it run, right? I want the game to be built for the platform. Yeah. And the G Cloud was like kind of there, but old version of Android doesn't do emulation quite as well, right? So like it was like everything was giving me a piece of what I wanted, but not the full thing. This is like a really nice middle ground where I can stream. I have tons of native games. I have Nintendo games now. I've got Super Nintendo and I can play Pokemon if I'm if I'm on an airplane, which I never am, but if I am, I can play Mario 3. I'm not right. I like this. It's a nice little setup for me. But again, bring your own tablet. I already had it, so I think it made it a much easier purchase for me. I wasn't too concerned about the $150.
Is it?
And remote play is nice too.
Fit a phone in there too. Like it's not just a tablet.
It's up to 8 inches, but it'll work on the new iPhone. It'll work on the new Android, the Samsung, the Galaxy. That was another thing. Like the backbone that I had was just for like my old iPhone 11. That was the only thing in that I could actually use it. This I can use on I have like 4 devices I could put in this thing. My son can grab this controller, put it on his phone.
That's where I'm stuck right now so I have an iPhone 14 Pro and it has like the old Lightning connector, but I know the next time I upgrade a phone, it's going to be USB-C. Yep. My iPad is the 12-inch, 13-inch Pro or whatever. So I know like that's not going to fit a controller in. So any gaming I have is on this thing. And I was going to mention this in what I've been playing, but I've been doing the Delta emulation stuff as well. Mm-hmm. and it's great. And I hooked it up with my little 8BitDo Micro, which has been fine if it's like propped up on my stand or something like that. And it's cute. It's a cute way to play like Pokemon or Mario 3 or something like that. But when I get into Ocarina of Time or something that's a little bit more where, you know, they're like the Z button's not there and it's like weird to press, like the on-screen controls are fine for like Super Mario 64 or something. They're okay. But I was looking into, and if anyone listening or, you know, wants to write in or let me know if there's a Bluetooth version of one of those kind of controllers that could work in the interim. Because right now I don't want to put the money into any kind of lightning accessory that's going to be outdated in a year or two when I upgrade this phone.
Can't you know what I mean? Connect like your Switch Pro or your Xbox?
You should be able to collect any Bluetooth controller.
I can do
right?
that. I do that all the time. With my.
But you're
Xbox
saying
controller.
you want one of those.
You want the grip
that's handheld that I just place it in, that I can't, like you say, play it on a plane, play it on something that I don't have to worry about.
I think that's the backbone.
Stand.
Now,
the backbone? Okay.
I just got rid of this is actually a shame.
Does the backbone just plug in? Like, was it plug in or is it Bluetooth as well?
So, well, it plugs in. I'm sorry. Does it have to be Bluetooth? It plugs in. Now, here's the thing.
See, the thing, I wanted it to be kind of future proof, but I also figure that if I get a cheaper Bluetooth one now, that will work in this phone.
So like, here's my pitch to you.
I could get it and then sell it and then get a USB-C one or something like.
The backbone that worked with my old iPhone that had the Lightning, I bought super cheap on eBay. I got it for like $18.
Oh shit.
So I would tell you to go hunting, see if you can't get a cheap one until
the old Lightning one. Yeah, they were selling those like hotcakes because they knew everybody's going to the USB-C.
I would give you mine, but when I bought this controller, I went into my Discord and I was like, I have this backbone I'm not using, and somebody else already claimed it. So I shipped that off today. But I would tell you to go get a Lightning backbone. You can get it super cheap and you can try it. And if you're not already an Apple Arcade member, I think it comes with a 3-month subscription too. That's worth the try at the controller alone.
Yeah, really. Oh yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, I love Apple Arcade. I use Apple Arcade on my Apple TV all the time. That's how we played Sonic Dream Team. It's great. My son and I played the hell out of it. So I play a decent amount of games on my phone, but I've never, like I said, I hook up my Xbox controller and I have like a little mount thing, so my phone's kind of. But I've never thought that was an elegant solution. I want something that feels more like a Switch, exactly what you're describing.
So the backbone with your phone, it will feel exactly like a Switch Lite in your hands.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to have to start searching on eBay or start searching.
The only thing I didn't like about the
place and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about the backbone, Mark, is it doesn't feel like a real controller. Like, that's why I like this.
It's very
because it does feel. Yeah, it's tiny. The ergonomics aren't great if you want like a pro controller. That's why I would say maybe just wait until that's there, because honestly, I didn't like the ergonomics of the backbone. I just feel like it's tiny, it's small.
If you don't mind the Switch, because it's got Switch sticks and Switch buttons. Like, that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
Versus this is just a stopgap thing, because I'm going to get a new phone, like I said, in probably a year or two, whatever it is, probably,
Then I know Razer Ultra is the way to go then, because it's the real deal. It's the full thing.
Mark, I just put something in chat, Mark. Controllers. It's $50. It's Bluetooth. Does the same thing. Attaches on. It's $50. If you can't find a backbone, it's $50.
That's it. Yeah, this might be the kind of, like I said, stop. I just need something stopgap kind of solution right now until I can invest in. And I don't mind spending the money, $150 or whatever it is, for like a good Lightning connection, or not Lightning, USB-C connection one. Like that one looks great, but I can't get it now because I'm stuck with a Lightning phone and USB-C iPad, and it's such a pain in the ass. I'm in that transition period with technology connectors, so I'm gonna get.
Cat says get an Android.
Yeah, I'll look on. I never thought eBay or Marketplace. I'm gonna look there first for a backbone.
Look there.
And
Don't bet a lot. They were on clearance.
This link.
Lots of people bought those backbones before the USB-C switch, and I think you could pick one up for dirt cheap just to try it.
Yes.
If you don't like it,
because they know.
Trash.
Yeah.
But I think you'll like it. I honestly think you'll like it. Like I had no problems with it because it's not your main platform. It's your I want to play this in a pinch when I have time. Like it's a carryover platform. So I was never too concerned with the sticks because I was like, I've got 6 minutes while I wait in the doctor's office. I can get on some Retro Bowl here for a minute. I can get a level of Sonic in it. Yeah.
And if my son takes the Switch and he's playing Kirby and I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to play whatever,
Pokemon
Extreme
Fire
G
Red
for
30 minutes.
Exactly. Right.
It's totally fine for that. You'll have
and you can remote play from your iPad to the the Xbox Series X too.
And now that we have emulation, because the other thing that I got rid of the Ally. One of the things I was thinking was like, there's a million Retroid like tablets and handhelds. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about getting one, even the Retroid Pocket and all the Ioneo stuff and the PAL Kitty. Yeah. An attachment like this to your phone, especially if you're an Apple user,
makes it super easy.
With you have the emulation is way easier investment to that than just buying one of those devices. Just having a dedicated handheld for that, you'd be like,
as long as you got space and you don't care about your battery, like your phone, probably not a good idea because your phone is your battery life and it dies and you got limited space. But if it's an iPad, that's probably a little easier, right?
Here's my phone use, because it's always just charging, or like I have a charger nearby when it's on. It's a 10 after 11 p.m. and I have 74% battery life left on my phone.
Well, there you go.
Not a concern to me when because for 90% of the time,
especially
there's a charger somewhere close by. Yeah,
playing GB.
I still don't know how you put ROMs on that thing, Mark. I don't know. I don't understand.
Easy. The Delta app makes it so easy,
dude.
It does. Okay, I had no clue because I know back in the day, iPhone putting any files on an iPhone was like, oh my god.
You go into Delta, you hit storage. It tells you, asks you, like, do you want your iCloud or your Google Drive? You pick Google Drive. You pick the folder your ROMs are, and it just downloads everything for you.
Oh god. Okay, but it's local.
The folder.
Yeah.
Okay.
The folder that I used for my RG35XX was already in iCloud because I had shared it with a couple of other people, like my brother and a friend that just bought an RG35. Like it was already there. So I literally just like told my phone to go to that folder. And the only thing I had to download was the DS BIOS, which were also super easy to find. I just fired them.
No, you don't talk about that, Mark. We don't talk about that. It's like first rule of emulation.
We don't talk about
I
BIOS.
totally do that.
First thing I wanted to ask you about that, because you mentioned DS just now. You've mentioned 64. Yeah. We talked about this in Shack this week. I am weird in a way. I still play my 3DS.
Me too.
I never, ever want to play a 64 game without a 64 controller. It's the only thing that I am that way with. I'm almost controller agnostic. You give me anything and I'll play with it. I'll play with a PlayStation controller, an Xbox controller. I can switch freely between the two. Nintendo, it's not that big of a deal. I'll make it work. I love video games. Until you put me in Ocarina and I try to use that thing with a regular game, I'm like, this doesn't work. This is not what this is supposed to feel like. This is terrible. I hate this.
You know why?
Even on Switch,
no modern controller has enough buttons. No modern controller has enough buttons to do it because you have the 4 C buttons.
Exactly. Even on Switch, N64 emulation is terrible unless you have one of those controllers.
That's why I bought the N64 controller.
You really like the N64 controller? Charles Manson.
Oh, come on. Well, that's what he had good taste in games. I still play
good taste in game controllers.
My N64 is still hooked up. I've got the Ultra HDMI. I do all the things. When I want to play an N64 game, I think the best it's ever gotten, and even then, I think it's a stretch, is the 3DS. Because of the touchscreen, they map so many extra things to the touchscreen that you can get by with a traditional control scheme on 3DS. But playing Zelda, when it came to Switch Online, trying to play Ocarina of Time just on the regular Switch, I was like, this is a nightmare. It's like hold a button to hit the C button. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, 100% agree with you. That's why I went online. The second I saw those N64 controllers go up on Nintendo, I was like, give me this immediately. Thank you.
What's that condition called where you're like held hostage and you like,
it is.
Yeah, I think that's what the N64 controller is.
It's not. It's way better than you think it is. It's really good.
Donnie, I'm older than all of you guys. And when I played that, I looked at that thing. I'm like, this is the worst. This is the worst. Is this the worst controller? I never want to touch that. It sucks.
If I only had money to
buy that,
you just merely adapted it. I was born. This is my controller.
No.
You grew up on the NES pad. Like
I grew up with the Atari 52 controller.
Goodness.
So God, I've experienced every bad controller, and that N64 with that little toothpick analog stick that broke in 2 seconds. It was a toothpick. You look at that little stock. It was bad. Every demo unit, it was always flopped over. Like
we have people in our Discord, and they send me. They're like, "Hey, you're going to play N64 and you hit DS." I'm like, "I'm not doing that on my iPad. I don't know. I want no part of any of this on my phone or my iPad."
No.
Like, absolutely.
Have you ever?
The thing is, you just don't play the N64.
In the chat.
Don't say that. How dare you? The N64 is amazing. It's incredible.
Either of you, have you ever seen?
I had a choice between the N64 and PS1. I'm like,
what's it called?
I will move on.
Pad 64. Just click the link right in the chat there. 64. It's fantastic.
What? No, Mark, there's a better one. They just made a new one of that.
Is terrible.
The N64. Yes, I would agree.
I have the Ultra. Was it the Smash Ultra? I think was what they're called.
There's a new one. There's a new N64 controller, which is much better.
Well,
that's really
back
good.
In the day. This was like the controller that I
mine's called the Fighter
N64. It was.
There's a Fighter stick for the
Fighter 64 controller. I think is what it's called. I have 4 of them. They match. I got Brawler. Sorry.
It's the Brawler. Yeah, the Brawler 64. Yeah.
Is what I have.
Brawler 64.
It actually is a real controller.
Oh, yeah.
That is designed by sane people.
I have one of these. Yeah,
I have the Crystal Blue.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
N64, and I bought 4 Crystal Blue Brawlers. I had 4 regular OEMs.
See, there you go. That one's actually like a real sane person's controller.
But there are games where I prefer the Bear Claw. It just depends. Yeah. It depends on the game.
Guys are insane.
For sure.
Like I will totally on the Brawler. I will play the mess out of wrestling game with that.
Okay. I'm moving us on because I need to extract this from
N64 talk. You told me to come talk Nintendo, and
we're going to switch
to talk N64 thing. We need to talk about how terrible this Mako pad is. What is this?
It was good. I'm telling you.
Was it? This is
it's made out of non-recyclable plastic. It's in. It probably caused it probably breaks down and that's actually what caused all of the
pad. The Mako pad is like incest. It's like a Genesis controller meets an N64 controller. It's like something has happened. Something has gone terribly wrong.
The controller is practically saying "kill me."
It really
it's also the toxic emissions from that controller is actually what was killing Lauren,
Mark,
not your Bondo.
That was the controller that I used.
Oh,
that was my.
Who did this to you?
That's what you're gonna tell Finn. Back in my day, I'd use the Mako controller.
Just look at the back of it. Like what the hell? Oh,
it was. For some reason,
I keep closing the browser because I can't keep looking at this thing.
It's offensive. It's offensive.
It was my favorite.
Apparently, every Canadian kid got that for Christmas. And they said, "Yes."
I was the only person I knew that ever had that controller.
I believe you. That I actually believe. 100% that checks out. Because I don't think
any fan fiction website on
nobody else looked at this and was like, "I need one of these."
Mark's gonna look online like I'm making any Mako 64 fans. Please join me.
I'm starting a Facebook group. You'll find me.
This is the horror movie of controllers. I mean, this is terrible.
Exactly. It's cursed. It's cursed. Mark, really know that. You know,
the poop, blood, and honey of N64.
If you see that name 3 times in a row, you'll bring out a demon or something.
There's
like
no
that.
Symmetry at all.
No.
It's
fantastic.
It probably gives you like permanent carpal tunnel syndrome.
What's like the weird art
looking at it?
Where all the eyes and the chins and everything's are different. Like, what's the artist that did all the?
Salvador Dali.
I don't know, but like the art where the eyes are not thing and the face is off center and everything is like kind of glitchy.
It's N64.
It's not good for ADHD.
That's that controller. That's what that
And
controller
then-
is.
yeah.
A
Oh, it's
Picasso?
the chunk.
Is it Picasso?
It's the sloth
Picasso
controller.
Maybe.
There you go. Okay.
GG's.
We need to bring this back to reality. Yes, Mark, because you're talking about emulation, Delta Emulator, tell me all about it. Or did you already cover it? I don't know.
I think I covered most of it. It's been fun to play on my phone. The only other thing I've been playing, I finally finished the Teal Mask DLC for Pokemon Scarlet, and I'm moving on to the other one, whatever the fudge it's called.
That link is what that controller is.
Here we go.
That's when I look at that controller, that's what I think.
This is I really wish that people. I'm saving
the impressionist controller we all needed.
I'm saving this, and I'm going to put it in the video version of this.
Mark, have you TikTok this? You got to TikTok this, man.
Yeah, I think this is going to be way too long for TikTok.
It's at 108.
There's going to be some clips where we're all yelling at each other that I am definitely going to be uploading.
We've lost lost all control. Thank you, Donnie. So, Mark, in regards to this, is this the end of your Pokemon journey with this generation of Pokemon?
It should be.
With this generation of Pokemon, yeah. I just downloaded Pokemon Ultra Moon on my 3DS, so I'm going to get into that one next. I never played
Pokemon.
So you're going backwards in time.
Pokemon on Switch has been depressing to me.
Yeah.
It feels like it's gotten steadily worse to me. I played Pokemon Let's Go, and I was like, this is great. Like, how did this happen?
I'm sure the power of the next Switch will fix all the woes.
I don't get it. Let's Go's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Let's
we
Go
just
was-
got worse and worse and worse as time went on.
Yeah, it's not a pretty
And they
game
make
at all.
all the money. They make all the sales. There's zero excuse. And as Mark, I love Ultra Sun and Moon, and not just Ultra. I love Sun and Moon. I think it's my favorite in the franchise, like barring like the nostalgia of the old ones.
Yeah.
And it's like, what a downgrade to go from 3DS to Switch. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Why?
I played Sun back in the day, but never got the Ultras. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to play an Ultra game, and I just decided Moon instead of Sun this time. So I just downloaded that one. So I'm going to jump into that and see how it is. But I figured I'd finish this the Switch DLC because I kind of bounce back and forth. So if my son's playing with the 3DS, then I play on my Switch, and if I'm playing on my Switch, then my son's got the 3DS. You know, you just kind of trade off whatever system's available in the house. So I like to have something on everything that I'm playing at some given point. So that's pretty much all I've been playing. I did dabble actually after the last episode's conversation. I did dabble back into Vampire Survivors for a little bit.
Yeah.
That game's good.
The Contra DLC is coming out. They just announced that the Xbox Adventure mini indies. They're
adding
announced that. So the
go-karts
Contra.
already.
It's like
crazy.
There's kart racing coming to Vampire.
I love that.
Like a power
Yeah,
up.
carts.
There's a train. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing?
And
They're
doors
literally
open now.
whatever we want.
I love they said door animation.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes.
Character actually runs now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sean Nias, check out more Vampire Survivors. I know that's a huge favorite of yours, bud. So check that out. So I'll go into what I've been playing. Mark, I hate to say this, but I know we talked about it last episode, but Hellblade, I like the combat. I like the story. I absolutely hate the puzzles.
How dare you?
I hate the puzzles. I do. Gotta line up these really bizarre symbols. I gotta line up ravens.
And right over my shoulder here. Are you serious with this right now? You invited me here for this, Todd.
Donnie, I liked everything but the puzzles.
Look, if you're not good at it, just say you're not good at it, man. Like I don't understand why you gotta come here with this.
It's like, do those logs look like a triangle? Sure. Let's line that up. That was where I was like, this doesn't feel value added.
This is
that's where I'm like, so I'm hoping, because I love what they're doing. Maybe I'll just do a let's play watch because I like the combat. I like the story. I like what it's doing. It's a beautiful game, especially all the updates, and I'm playing on Steam. Or no, actually I couldn't because my son was playing Helldivers on my Steam account, so I couldn't even get into my Steam account because even though we're shared, he's playing. It's just so dumb. Oh well. But I was playing on the Xbox app on PC, and I was playing it there. It's beautiful, looks great. But the puzzles really ruined the game for me. It was everything.
Sorry.
We do need a family plan. Of course
Steam,
we do.
You can do that. We have that now.
Well, I do. I've added him on there, but he started Helldivers under my name, apparently.
So he's
I don't
playing
know.
with your account.
Yes, he's playing with my account.
Gotcha.
Because he's 18 years old now. He started off as a minor. Now he's old, and he made the mistake of just not buying it as his own account and just sharing accounts.
Are you talking about just the ones that you make shapes, or are you talking about are you also including the ones with the gates? Because the one with the gates, I think, are excellent.
Those are okay. It's the Raven one there you have to line up the ravens, and
they're a little loose. They're a little clunky.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I just found that was getting in the way of my enjoyment of everything else. I'm like, I'm just going to watch it let's do this, and I'm like, after I'm like, it just got in the way of the game for me. I really like that team. I like what they're doing, but I just had to give up because I'm like, I'm not enjoying this. It's getting in the way of actually what they're going after, and I felt like it was filler. I'd rather fight or just have a nice narrative walking simulator, to be honest. So that's where I'm so excited for Hellblade 2, because it feels everything we've seen, which quite honestly is not much. I feel like it's definitely going to be a different take on that game, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm excited for it. It just I don't feel
that way at all.
Well, Mark was going to play it, and I don't know if you've started again, Mark, or not, or you're going to jump in and make.
No, I haven't picked up to, like we talked about last time. I don't have much longer to finish this game. So I really do need to
3 weeks
get back in and finish it. And that's going to happen soon. I think
everything that I've seen from the second one, I think is going to be a lot more of the same.
Yeah,
I hope it's not the same puzzles though. It seems like they haven't shown any puzzles.
I would expect that at least some of them would be the same. Like maybe they'll make.
Well, maybe the puzzles will be better.
I think there will be more of the same with though. I think there will be similar puzzles and maybe new puzzles. But generally speaking, I think the formula of the game, I think is mostly going to be the same.
Yeah,
that's.
You've invited the worst guest for this topic.
No, it's okay.
That's okay. I apologist. Of all the studios they bought, this was the one for me. I love
Ninja Theory. I love DMC. I love basically the Journey of the West game they made. I loved Heavenly Sword. I've loved everything this team has made. I even liked that one game on Xbox where it was the multiplayer game. Yeah, I thought that was fun. Yeah.
My thing that made me more upset with all of there's been a lot of discourse about Hellblade. The thing that made me the most upset is there's not some stupid edition for me to buy. I can't buy a statue.
They're not doing anything special either.
The thing that makes me really upset. There's no controller. There's nothing for me to throw more money at this because I loved the first game that much.
Xbox has struggled with their even they've had one console that's been exclusive that everybody could buy versus just a contest.
Damn controller for everything but this game apparently. And
even a wrap. I mean,
even a wrap.
Wraps have been limited.
Give me something to buy. Yeah. Give me something. You marketed the console. I want to give you money. Give me money. I'm so upset that in my house of geek collectors things, I have no statue of Senua. To the point I've almost bought custom. I've almost went as far as I'll just paint my own because I want one.
I was just gonna say get some to 3D print. I just found one on Thingiverse.
I've seen a few on Etsy, but they don't come painted. You have to paint them yourself.
Yeah,
I'm not very good at painting.
Yeah, I'm
it would look bad. It would be like one of those paintings. Hey, the artist redid. Oh, yeah, that's true. It'd be the Mako. What happened to her face? I don't know. Who is that even? I don't know. It's supposed to be. Yeah. It's an impressionistic version.
But I would so throw hundreds of dollars at something to enshrine my love of Hellblade permanently. And they were like, no, we're just going to put it on Game Pass. Yeah. I can't even buy a box of the game. I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Exactly. It's is there even going to be a physical release? That's the the weirder part. Is there a steel book?
No.
Is there anything?
No.
Yeah. God, that's crazy. But once again, I think if you do like interesting puzzles, they're there. It wasn't for me. But it's a great game. I love the combat. I love the artistry, and I love what they're going after in regards to the view of mental health.
You play with headphones?
Yes, I did, and this is my second try, Donnie. So even I said I was going to give it another try, and I'm just like, that's why I stopped, and I'm like, I'll get back to it eventually. And I even said with Mark, we're going to make an honest try. So if Mark does this, he can shame me. If he beats it and says, Todd, you're the worst. Those puzzles were great and easy. I love them. You're a dumb idiot. I will take my punishment.
I played it,
and I will say, yes, sir, may have another.
I beat it on PS4. I beat it when it came to Game Pass. I have bought and beaten the Switch version and PC.
Wow.
And that Switch version was streaming, right?
Yeah.
No. It's
native. It's not streaming. It's native.
It's native?
It's native, which is why I bought it. It's native. And if you catch it on sale, because the Xbox games usually go on sale pretty decent, if Switch 2 is backwards compatible, you might have a future-proof version of that game.
And the voices are all Mario. Woohoo! Aha! Senua! Oh my goodness!
If they included some DLC track, that'd be hilarious. Voiced by Princess Peach. Wow.
Yes. Mario! Senua, you're a hero! Oh god, I just ruined it for everybody. I'm just horrible.
The game is going to be. It's going to look incredible.
I cannot wait to play it on. Yeah, I'm going to play it.
Amazing.
I have a Series X and I also have my PC, so I'm not sure where I'll play it, but I'll probably play it one or other place. But it's great.
On console, it's 30. So I'm not sure what PC you're running, but mine, I want to crank this.
I've got a 4070. I've got a 4070
to like a million.
Yeah.
Like, I give me everything.
I probably can do some good stuff with it. I've got a 4070, so yeah, I'm good to go. So going on to that, I played MiniShoot Adventures on Steam. It's only on Steam. Mark, holy crap. You got to check this game out. It is essentially Zelda twin stick shooter ships, but it's like Zelda, and it's so much fun. It is very cool. There's a demo. It's very hard. Turns into like a bullet hell, but it's very cool, very fun. It's got a lot of upgrades, but it makes me feel like it's a cool spinoff for Zelda. I hope this comes to Switch. I hope it comes to other platforms. I play the demo. It's very fun. So MiniShoot Adventures. I don't know how else to explain it, but it looks like it's a Zelda game.
It just looks really difficult, which is why I haven't jumped into it yet. I'm like, this looks hard.
I got into it, and it's very forgiving, but there's parts where like, when am I going to find the next like save point or like recovery point? Because it does take you back quite a bit to get there. So, but it does turn into a bullet hell, but it's fun. So I think that's a good game to try out. But once again, it's only on Steam. The last game I played was Tales of Kenzera Zao, and I had to actually copy and paste that in because it's called many things, but it's on PS Plus right now. It's also on Xbox. I don't know if it's on Switch. It's on Steam. This game has been getting a lot of. Okay, so it's been getting a lot of
the non-essential tiers.
I think it's premium. Yeah,
it's a joke that I do, but I just call it the non-essential tiers because they're one tier called essential.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the other tiers are just the non-essential games. You have to pay. It's one of the extra tiers. You got to pay one of the extra.
It's premium plus whatever. Yeah. And so I have like I gamed the system. I have the highest tier for like 2 more years. So whatever that is, where you get the good stuff, I'm there. Tales of Kenzera Zao. This is essentially a Metroidvania. It's inspired by African mythology. It's a heartfelt, basically story about the main hero who loses his father. He's essentially a royalty. It feels a lot like Black Panther in a lot of ways, the way it's going after it. And he has to essentially go into another, like almost like an afterlife to essentially find his kingdom and find where he's going and realize his purpose. It's a Metroidvania, very much like the most recent Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. If you like that, I think you'll like this. But I will say, unless you find the story compelling, the actual gameplay and the elements of like that are kind of lacking.
Yeah.
It's good. Doesn't feel like it's a lesser game. It just feels like there's a better game out there that I just played.
Yeah.
It's very cool. It almost has like there's a game on Ubisoft that was kind of cool where it's basically like fire and ice or like fire and water systems where it's like, oh, I have to be fire to take on water, or I have to be water to take on fire. So you change out your abilities to take on the enemy you're taking. So I think that's the cool approach to this, which I wasn't expecting, but it's very cool. But the enemy types seemed very generic, and I didn't feel like the combat was that interesting. So your mileage may vary. If you've got it on PlayStation Plus, give it a try. If you want to buy it, understand that I think it's not a very expensive game. It's an EA Partners game as well. So I think it'll be on EA.
It's published by EA, so it'll come to it will. That's why I haven't got it. I'm interested in this one. You're echoing like a lot 6 of the things that I saw. It will come to the vault, which means it will come to Game Pass.
Yeah, like probably 6 months later, right?
I've stopped buying games like that because I subscribe to Game. Like I'm just robbing myself from my own thing, so I'm holding off. I do want to play it, but I loved Prince of Persia, like absolutely loved it, and it is kind of a shame that this game is coming out so close because not only are they similar in design, they're similar in looks. I could see a lot of people even being confusing the two, and unfortunately, because of that, the reviews it's being reviewed on a curve that's not fair to it. It's not Ubisoft. This isn't Ubisoft. It's an indie label. They made an indie
much
game.
smaller budget.
And from an indie game, by all accounts, it seems great for an indie game. By all accounts, the game seems great if that other game didn't exist. If this other game, because I loved Prince of Persia. Like, I'm not a Metroidvania guy. It's not my thing. I do like the Castlevanias, but honestly, the more casual Castlevanias, not a Metroid person. Never have been. I love that game, like to the point where I was like, when I played it, I was like, this might be my favorite game in this genre. Like that's just between story, exploration, the platforming was exquisite. Like there were so many times I was like, I just died tens of times. I was like, I'm getting that damn coin. I'm getting over there. I don't care what happens. Like I'm going to get this. And it just is a bummer that this game come out and almost, I saw like 3 reviews. I saw tweet like impressions and headlines, and almost every one of them was just like, it's okay, but this other thing was way better. And it's just like, damn, that sucks for this game. It's like, if only they could have beat it out and got out in front of it. But I still very much look forward to playing it and will do so when it comes to Game Pass.
Yeah.
This game's getting a lot of good reviews.
I've been holding off is the Game Pass factor. And yeah, like you said, I loved Prince of Persia so much, and I don't want to hold this up to
that's a part of it too. It's like
I want to give it some
I want to
space.
forgive that. I want to forget that.
100%.
Yeah.
I want to have just played like a completely different game. Give me a first-person shooter, or let me finish Hellblade or something.
Yeah.
And this comes out, and like I'll be like, yes, I need a break. I need something a little bit more platformy and this and that. And like this game will be perfect, hopefully, when it comes to Game Pass and I've been playing something else. But like fresh off the heels of the best Prince of Persia game, and one of the best examples of that, like you said, that genre, I don't want to hold it up to that.
Same.
No, it's bad timing. It's completely bad timing. I'm glad though it's on PS Plus, because there will be people that get to play this game and they are making money. So I'm like, I feel like the studio and even the guy behind this.
To your point, as great as Prince of Persia was, most all accounts say that it sold pretty soft.
Oh yeah.
There's a ton of people that didn't even play that game.
That's a shame.
Right now it is my favorite game of the year. Honestly, by a healthy margin at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of 1A, 1B, 1C. Like there's a moment before I get to 2. It's like, this is kind of the game. I've played other games, but this is the game.
Yeah. It's a benchmark. And then we get to this. I will shout out to Luke Lore, who interviewed the on XEP, interviewed the creator and the basically the creative lead on this game. So if you're interested in learning more about this with African mythology and is basically how it inspired his journey.
Like an Afro-futurist game, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Like I said, it feels like it's like Black Panther and that vibe you get. Sure. And it's amazing. And there are some differences, but once again, it's just bad timing. It kind of reminds me of like the Titanfall 2 coming out in the middle of like 2 big shooters. It's like it just gets lost. So hopefully this game gets a second life when it comes to EA Play and and I think this is on Switch. So
I might pick it up on Switch too. Yeah. Like, I mean, if it hits a sale on Switch before it comes to Game Pass, I might just play it that way too.
It's pretty cheap. And I'm assuming it plays well on Switch because it's one of those that's got good art style. It doesn't necessarily look like it needs like the horsepower. So
Persia played it 60 on Switch.
Yeah,
Persia was fantastic on Switch.
That game runs even on my refrigerator really well. That's the thing. There's some magic there going on. Yeah, very cool. Okay, well, lastly, we get into our bonus round. So this is, like I said, it's been a very healthy Switch edition. We've mocked weird controllers from Canada, which has been fun. But now it's time to get into the future of Nintendo. So there is so basically our bonus round is going to be focused on how we would choose to launch the successor to the Switch. There are some like rumors that will lay down some kind of like some basics that I think we're going to get. And basically I will lay that out really quickly, and then we can build our own story of how we would launch the Switch successor. So essentially MobaPad, who is basically an accessory creator for Switch, which is weird to get this out there because Nintendo hates people who do this. So I guess they think they can continue business with Nintendo after doing this type of stuff. Oh, even better, because China loves IP.
Well, I think that's why it happens, right? Because
sure. What are they going to do?
Show it to them. They're probably working on products, but like they're getting molds and stuff together. But they're also like not an active participant in like the global game talking business, right? So they probably put this blog up thinking nobody would ever see it. Nothing.
Nintendo lawyers can't get into China. We know that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like they're kind of off in their own thing, and that's how this happens. Yeah.
Exactly. So apparently there's some big some unique rumors coming out about this MobaPad company that's saying they've got some details on the Switch based on other suppliers to the most recent Switch successor. As of right now, Nintendo has not claimed anything about a Switch successor. So right now we're just kind of all grasping at straws. Essentially, they're saying some interesting things, which is leading me into like maybe the names of my Switch successor, which is essentially they're talking about using magnets instead of rails for the Joy-Cons. Take it as you will. But is that meaning the actual Joy-Cons using rails, or is it magnets in regards to the Hall effects for their Joy-Cons?
I think it's a replacement for the rails. They're going to stick on.
It says it in the article that's replacing rails.
Yeah.
Which
interesting.
is the same rumor. Okay, so this is driving me crazy because I love magnets. Magnets are amazing. Magnets are just the best. But
did the Insane Clown Posse not realize how Switch magnets worked? Is that the thing?
What?
Yes. What? There was a meme back in the day. The Insane Clown Posse basically questioned that magnets were actually a thing.
That's amazing.
Sure.
I mean,
is it really?
I listened to Insane Clown Posse as a teenager. My wife would even.
I'm from Michigan, and they are from Michigan.
Yeah, I'm from Ohio.
We drink a lot of Faygo, and probably
I'm in the same thing. Yeah, so I've been around Juggalo-ish, type of gatherings for some time now. That's a new one for me. Like I didn't know they questioned
which science do they accept and which science do they not accept.
But here's the thing: totally checks out. Like it's very believable, whether it's true or not. Like totally believable.
Juggalo Science 101.
They're not
magnets,
smart. Like, they're not the smartest group.
It's
not real
now. So the thing with magnets is there's a time and a place. I love like MagSafe. When I charge this, I just boop it on my little MagSafe stand and it floats in the air and it's a clock and it's great. But there's a couple of rumors of magnets recently that are driving me crazy. One is that the next Apple Watch is going to replace the little clasp here where you switch the band out. And that's a clasp.
With
and
magnets?
They're going to replace that with magnets to make the watch thinner. And I'm like, do you ever try to dive or swim with a watch on? That's great because I can do that now. I can't do that if the thing's held on by freaking
you're going
magnets.
Swimming with your Apple Watch on?
All the time. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And
why?
Mark lives in Atlantis, Donnie.
Why?
Yeah.
Donnie.
What does your watch give you underwater? Like, what does it allow you to do? What's the benefit of that?
It tracks swimming workouts.
Mark's got to text when he's underwater. He's got to check his time when he's underwater.
It's got his heartbeat. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, for the most part,
Mark lives 50% of his life underwater. By the way, Donnie, he lives in Atlantis.
When I'm
he's Aquaman,
walking, running, hiking, whatever. But so like I don't want something that I'm gonna like you try to dive with that, and I don't care how strong the magnet is. Like it's something potential to come loose more than a clasp. And I think the same thing for that. Like how often are you holding your Switch?
I've heard this
and then just
this
like,
reaction to this.
Like
I don't think this is I might eat these words, Mark. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. I don't think we have to worry about this. We have to remember Nintendo engineers their products for kids. There's going to be a lock or a clasp or a button. There's going to be something. It's not just going to be able to like, you're not going to like pick up your Switch one day by one end and the Joy-Con come off and your Switch fall on the ground. They're way too good for that. These are the same people that like made the Switch cartridge uneditable because they knew some kid would put it in their mouth. I guarantee almost like
have you licked a Switch cartridge recently?
These are kid-proof magnets.
I guarantee you, there's something we don't know about this that will make sure that it's solid.
Yes.
Okay. When's the last time you guys licked a Switch cartridge?
Oh,
I've never.
I did it. I did it.
Why
when we
would
unboxed everything?
Yeah. I did. So I just did it recently with Super Mario RPG.
He's like, I do this all the time. I taste it every year.
Did Finn challenge you?
I realized that I hadn't licked a Switch cartridge since launch. And I was like, I wonder if they still taste bad. And they do. So
it's like,
yes. But does it taste like something different or does it just taste like plastic and gross?
No. They spray them.
Like
they spray the mold with something that makes you spit it out.
It's actually like
it tastes bad.
A deterrent. Yeah.
It
tastes like a battery.
Fans are the worst.
It's great.
That's a good thing. It's so toddlers don't eat them.
So I am worried a little bit about this, but I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping like it's magnets. Okay.
I'm almost certain that it will be.
Maybe it's not. So because the rails are a bit of a pain in the ass and a bit, like
my only issue with the rails is they are a little. No matter how snug they are, they're always a little wiggly.
Yeah,
you just get a little movement, and it's not a problem, but it's just enough to notice. And I like the idea of a magnet like locking in, and it makes that thing feel more like a one piece of hardware.
And everybody always gets them wrong at least once, the wrong direction. And then you feel like you're going to break your Switch.
I had a birthday party,
and it's bad.
And one of Jack's friends slammed a Joy-Con in there the wrong way.
Yep.
And was a real problem.
Is it over? And you don't know. And you're like, this could be the end.
Yeah, we might need a new Switch.
Magnets that could be polarized, so it like rejects the other controller side. Like if you're
trying and that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be opposites attract, Mark. It's going to be like, no, this is the only way it works because and then I'm thinking maybe those Joy-Cons come together in a controller, and that's really cool.
I was thinking of like a grip. Yeah,
and you don't need the grip in the middle. You don't need the happy puppy.
So I was still thinking of having a grip. Here's the other thing. I was thinking of having like multiple grips or multiple Joy-Con styles of Joy-Con, like a mix and match, pick your own.
100%.
Get like 85 things in the middle of your Switch.
The magnet is also
more magnets. It just gets to be huge.
The magnet is also like all the rage. It's like it's just newer. Everything does this. Apple has the Magic Keyboard, and you mentioned the alarm clock.
MagSafe.
This is
charger.
The thing. I look at this as like this is going to be more of a premium tablet than what we were expecting. I like this development.
Yeah. Okay. So we talked about magnets for way too long.
Are they even real?
Thank you. Who knows? The ICP is still looking up. They have their scientists on it. So we'll look at this next. They're talking it's going to be bigger. They're actually saying it's going to be backwards compatible, same form factor. The old Joy-Cons will be compatible with it, but they will not actually attach, which quite honestly makes sense because they got all the buttons. Are you going to add more buttons to the Switch? Probably
which means
not.
Your Pro controllers will continue to work with them, which I'm very excited because I have a very nice customized Wind Waker Pro controller that I want to keep using.
Yes. There we go. Yes. So there we go. I think we find out basically this is going to be a Switch successor versus a starting over from scratch, which makes a lot of sense. So that's the rumors we have, gentlemen. So now it's time to take what we know with the rumors and come up with our own approach to how we would each launch the Switch successor, which I'm calling the Switch 2 or the 2. And why I called it 2 is TU acento. The Spanish 2 means you. So take that. It's almost like the curse of the U, the Switch U, Wii U, and also the Switch 2 TOO. So I think Nintendo likes to be playful. If they're going to have a Switch and use that name, they've never had the same name with a basically a numeral. They've always used an advance or something else or a number 64.
Switch.
So, yeah,
well,
exactly.
GDS,
so,
and then they have the 3DS. That is a successor with a numeral.
kind of. Yeah, but
not kind of. It is a successor with a number.
It's the third dimension, Donnie. It's like it's like the scent. Maybe we'll get a Switch smell, and it's using the scent of smell.
The Nintendo Land fan of me thinks that's an amazing idea.
Absolutely. So at this point, I'm going deep there, but I've also come up with a few others, especially if you think of magnets, what magnets do and the sound they make. You can actually go there and come up with your own name. So, gentlemen, this is what I'm asking of each of you. How will they first reveal the new hardware? How and when? So basically, will be a video. When will they do it? The hardware details and a price. Is it backwards compatible? Will there be launch games? Will there be new IP? And what's the launch date?
I love the idea of just
I'm constraining you to your marketing plan for the next Nintendo hardware. So who would like to start?
Donnie, you bud.
Okay. The reveal is interesting because we still have no idea on like the window. It's been said for a long time. It was this year. It's been recently said that that's been delayed into next year. So that might affect the reveal. I will just go with like the standard. I think they reveal, announce, whatever you want to call it. I think they announce the hardware, its existence, probably at their upcoming investor meeting. And I think they have a reveal in their summer showcase direct, whether that's in June, July, August, wherever they want to put that thing. Everybody is custom around E3 time. But as I've pointed out on Shaq, since the demise of E3, that's a moving, floating target. Sometimes it's early June, sometimes it's late June. It could be mid-July. So I'm just going to say their summer showcase direct. I think they allude to new hardware, probably as a teaser. They probably say, hey, we're ready to launch the new system. Maybe we get a teaser look at what it looks like with like a full unveiling coming later in the fall. And I think it launches, the poetic thing would be to launch it on the same date next year as the original Switch, like in March. That'd be the poetic way of doing it. But I'll say, I think March also makes sense for like the fiscal year. It kind of sets up their next fiscal year to be all generated by Switch 2. So by the end of March. Price, I think at the very least $399, if not more. I'm expecting it to be pretty pricey because I think the demand is going to be there. I think they're going to be able to sell it at that price very well. It could be $499. I also think that all the games will be $70. I think they will adapt to that market trend as well. It will absolutely be fully backwards compatible. And then let's see here. Hardware details, 1080p screen. It'll run a lot of games at 1080p. I expect some games will get updates to run at 60 frames, at least portably, which is really cool. Docked, I think that dock can upscale to 4K. I just don't think it will. Kind of like the PlayStation 5 can output at 8K, but it doesn't. I think we might get into something like that. But I'll put in a caveat. The rumors are pretty heavy here. And also, if you track their development cycle and what their teams have done and are working on, it all lines up pretty well here. It's going to launch with a 3D Mario game. That almost feels all but assured because so many of their other teams have just released games and this team hasn't, right? We haven't had a 3D Mario game in 7 years. So this lines up perfectly.
Even Bowser's Fury?
I mean, that's if you call it that. I mean, it is. It is a smaller thing. Good point.
I think that felt like a test bed for what they're doing next.
Correct.
Exactly.
That could be more of what we're going to get.
We're going to see a lot of that DNA in the next game. I think that there will be a lot of third-party support for Switch 2 at launch. So I wouldn't be so sure. Every Nintendo podcast is going to talk about like, it's a trend that I often get into, or at least highlight when we're talking Nintendo. Every Nintendo podcast gets into a habit where we just start naming IP. And Nintendo's going to have a Kart and a Donkey Kong and a Star Fox, right? Because it's just easy to do. I think it's going to be a limited first-party launch because I think there's going to be a ton of third-party support.
Yeah.
The Switch didn't have a lot of third-party support at launch because it was very risky. People were
coming off the Wii U.
Coming off the Wii U. But people forget that the Wii U coming off the Wii had a ton of third-party support.
Yes.
And I expect that third-party support will be here. So I'm thinking like some unbelievable Switch ports. Like the Resident Evil game that's just been brought to iOS. I would expect that to show up on Switch 2. I've been thinking that Elden Ring is the Switch 2's Skyrim.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have something like that. Yeah. It's like, holy shit, Elden Ring's a portable game now. Ubisoft will be there with something. I want it to be a Rayman. I don't know if it's going to be a Rayman, but there will be a Ubisoft
Skull and Bones.
I really hope that's not it. I really hope that's not it. Don't put your time into that. But I think Ubisoft...
The Watch Dogs collection.
I think Ubisoft will be there with a game. I think we're going to get third-party games. I'm looking at like Capcom, Bandai, I think like Street Fighter, Tekken, a lot of these third-party games that we've gotten recently, I think these all make sense for ports. So I think 3D Mario kicks us off. I think Metroid Prime 4 is announced in launch window. Not the same day.
Yep.
I think Kart is announced in the first year, but not at launch. I think Kart is a huge seller. And I think what you want to do is you want to get the early adopters in, get them buying, sell your 10 million consoles, get them in. And then once that starts to temper off and you can build stock back up again, then drop Kart. And then Kart becomes your maybe a year later. So like if this
Mario
thing drops
Kart 8
in May,
Deluxe, when did that come out? Was that like a June or July release?
I don't remember.
No, it was 76 years ago, Todd. No one remembers.
Yeah, I do remember it wasn't.
But it did come out year one of the Switch, but it was like it wasn't at launch. It was a couple months after.
And that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
like Splatoon 2.
Let's say they launch in March. That's the poetic one. Let's just grab the launch in March. 3D Mario game. I think Metroid Prime launches like April or May, and then I think the Kart game is like August or September, and it leads you into your fall holiday. I think there's going to be a second party game. They've had a lot of second party support. They've had Monolith and folks making games. The one that makes sense to me is Platinum. And the one that I want it to be is Astral Chain 2. Maybe it's a Bayonetta collection, but I think Astral Chain was a great IP, a great start, and like a sequel could show off technically what the Switch can do, which also I expect Metroid Prime to do. It's for the hardcore gamer. It's your early adopter. So I think you get your 3D Mario game, you get your Metroid Prime game, your Astral Chain game with all of your third party support, and like you're off to the races. I'm also expecting something from like one of their smaller teams, like either Indie Cube, which did Clubhouse 51's Mario Party, or like a second party game. Like I'm sure they're going to buy a game or two. Koei Tecmo has done like the Warriors games. I don't know if they want to do another Zelda Warriors. Maybe they want to do a Xenoblade Warriors, but I'm expecting them to show up with an exclusive or 3 from second, third party developers that they just go out and get. Like, and I'm wondering if the rumors are that they want to delay to strengthen the software lineup of the launch of the system. I don't think that means launch day. I think that means like the first 8 months of software.
First year.
And I think maybe that's a part of it. It's like we need to go get some games, because if you remember with the Switch launch, there was a steady, it was like every other month, big game. They can't rely on the DX again versions to pad that out now.
No.
So I would expect them to buy a couple games, to show up with a couple games. Maybe that's like the Ubisoft game. Maybe there's a couple third-party developers that make an exclusive or two. Kind of like what the Wii U had, right? They had Zombie U and they had Rayman and like some exclusives out of the gate. That's kind of what I think they'll set up tent-poled on the front and the back end by Nintendo first party. The only one that I'll throw in there, and then I'll relinquish the microphone back to you. Well, I'm sorry, 2 more, but really only the one that matters. There's been a long rumor that these Zelda 3D games have been ported to Switch. I do think if the delay for the Switch 2 is in fact, maybe we get those. Maybe they put those out to tide us over. I read a Reddit thread months ago that I shared in our Discord. I didn't agree with it at the time, But the more and more this drags on, the more and more I think it makes sense. If this dock is capable of doing any sort of upscaling to a 4K signal or something like that, using a game like Wind Waker to showcase that makes a ton of sense to me. Because it's probably easy to do. It's very flat. Technically, it probably makes a lot of sense. I don't think that's the thing, but like if they want to grab a Zelda game and market it around like the first Zelda game in 4K, or even if it's like 2K, like even if it's like 1600p, right? That's the one that I think you could build around. So this long awaited, rumored, it's been done port of a Zelda game, if the reason why it's not coming out is because they're holding it to use the new Switch to show it off, I think that could be there. It also gets a Zelda game on the system early because I think we're years away from the next Zelda game.
Yeah.
And that makes some sense to me. So I think that's going to be there. Maybe there's a Fire Emblem. I think if they had a Fire Emblem, which has been the rumor, I think maybe you get it out on Switch ahead of the next system, especially if it's backwards compatible. But when they announce this thing, I do think Suda51 will unveil his next game. Whatever Grasshopper's working on, I think Suda will be there. And I think he'll talk about their next game, which will not be No More Heroes. It'll be a brand new IP. And I think that'll be like one of those party relationships that they lean on to showcase what the next game is. And that's more or less kind of where I am with what I'm expecting from Switch 2.
Wow. Nice. That is very intense, Donnie.
You asked me to come. You said, hey, talk Switch.
Bring it strong.
He's brilliant.
Absolutely. So there you go, Mark. You've heard one iteration of this launch. What's your take?
You know, I agree with a lot of the points. I have some slight spins on some things. So I agree with that launch window. I think February, March, early March, like the fiscally it times out. Launch of the Switch, I think it worked for them. It lets them get their stock and stuff in order for the holidays. And that's where my first change is going to be. I think you're right on. I think they're going to be launching it with a Super Mario, like 3D Mario title. But I think the Mario Kart game comes out for holiday. I think that's their big fall holiday launch of like, hey, you didn't get a Switch 2 yet? You didn't get a Super Switch yet? What are you waiting for? Mario Kart 9's here, or Mario Kart X, or whatever they're going to be calling it. Because I think World Tour is, so this is like 10, right? Like this is the celebration, right? So like Mario Kart 10 is here, guys. Like go get this, like fight someone, stab someone on Black Friday. Like this is the thing. Like that's the riot causer.
And to be clear, the Switch launches in March and you're thinking the following holiday.
I'm thinking like immediately. So like March till November. Like I think
fall 2025.
That's
exactly.
More or less what I'm thinking too. I think that's their big one. Okay. And I think they want to have people in the door before they announce it. A lot of people are saying Mario Kart day one. And to me, Mario Kart will sell through the life of the system. But to me, that makes no sense because you're missing out on sales.
Yeah.
I think because people won't be able to get enough systems.
Yeah.
Right. You won't be able to sell enough systems. So you get the waves out of the way. You get your stock good to go. Yeah. Then you come in with your card on the back side of that. You sell it to everybody that already bought one and everybody else that wants to buy one.
Especially if it's backwards compatible, because you still have people playing Mario Kart 8. That's still fine. It's still selling. It's still great. So you have a Mario Kart game that's working on this thing. Yeah, right. Like it's so like you launch it with the big Mario title, you get that big buzz, like, oh, there's a new Nintendo, there's a new Mario title. Let's get this. Let's go. And then again, holiday buzz, holiday thing. It's like, guess what? We have a new bundle. It comes with this. I think you're right on with the price. I think $399's a good call. I'm hesitant.
Inflation has me worried to think that it might be higher. Like I think $399 is probably what it was supposed to be, but with the PS5 and everything's happened the last couple of years, I'm like, does that become $449? Like, do they put in something there to give them a little more wiggle room?
Maybe. What's the Xbox Series X? S?
500. 300.
No, the S is $299. The new one,
yes,
you can frequently get them around $200.
Yeah. Okay.
Now the only thing is
also 4 years post launch
to give you the $399. The chipset that they're using is several years old.
Yeah.
The screens that they're using are supposed to be LCD.
Yeah.
At $3.99, they should have a healthy margin. At $3.99,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And I'm thinking like comparing to the other console, I still think it's going to be underpowered. You know, I still like, I'm still comparing it to the Series S at best, as people are going to be looking at that and saying like, well, the Series S is $299. This is $399. I know it's a handheld, so like I can get that. A $429, a $499. You start comparing like, am I getting a PS5 or am I getting this?
I think a lot of games are still going to run at 30. I don't even believe that 4K thing. I was just pitching that as a rumor. Like, it's been said that the dock is capable of hitting that signal. And I'm thinking like that's an upscaled signal. And that's why I went to the Wind Waker. Wind Waker upscaled makes a ton of sense. That's an easy game to upscale versus
I mean, you can do that on the Dolphin
Valhalla or something.
It's just it's a benchmark, right? Like I completely agree with all that. And I'd love to see that bundle. I want to see that bundle this holiday. Like, what are they doing this holiday?
I was hoping,
that's the bundle I want to see.
When everybody said Switch 2 was delayed, I was like, okay, if there was ever a time to drop these games, now is the time.
Right.
But as it keeps going on and we don't get it, I'm like, why aren't we getting it? That was the first answer to why we didn't get it, that I was like, okay, maybe that does make sense.
Yeah, and the Nintendo always has that stuff in their back pocket. Like,
they do.
Something happens, they can drop that bundle. They can drop the Pokemon
drop
games
it this fall.
On
they could drop it this
Switch
fall
Online.
And announce that, like, hey, because of backwards compatibility, it will also work on the new one. And they could even do that. There could be some cross launch stuff here.
I also don't know if we're going to hear about this system until after the holiday. It really depends on what kind of bundles they have, what they're trying to push with Switch. If this is a dead holiday, they might just like price drop Switch, new systems coming out. They might announce this thing in November. If they have even a single game that they're trying to push out this holiday, I don't think we hear about this thing until like January, February, and it launches a month or two later.
That's where Bex is on our team. Yeah. That's what she's been saying. I think that's spot on, and I think you're right. The only pushback that I'll give you and spin on that is I think if they wait that long, they do run the risk of it leaking. They're already running into leaks. Like people are already starting to.
This summer they'll definitely come into leaks because if the hardware is already out there, the dev kits are out there.
If they're already hitting manufacturing, you just got to beat people to the punch. It's going to get out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to give your devs time, especially third party, more than like 5 months to make a game, or it's going to be a disaster. And I was looking at this, the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch was actually the first reveal trailer was October 20th, 2016. This launched March 3rd, 2017. So essentially almost like 4 months. They revealed what it was. They did the event in January, and then it came out.
That was the trailer. So we've brought this up on Shaq. If you had the Wii U at the time and you were following all the news, they talked about the NX at Investors in 2014.
Yes.
They talked about the next system at E3 in 2015. There was a long, like the system leaked. There were drawings from an outlet called Let's Play Video Games where they drew the joy. Like we knew what the Switch was way ahead of that commercial. Way ahead. The commercial just painted in the details. We knew it was a tablet. It was an NVIDIA Shield with some Snap-on controllers. We knew that a year ahead of time.
Yeah. So, and that's why I think like the Wii U was dead at that point, and they had nothing. They announced it.
Well, they had Breath of the Wild, and that was a game that was the last savior. I don't even remember what was the last like Wii U game.
I remember that was kind of like heralded. That I knew it was over. Which correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might be able to answer you. I knew the year was over. I want to say it was 15. Maybe I'm off on that. There was an E3 where Nintendo came out. Maybe it was the Muppet Direct. I don't remember exactly what was announced. But there was an E3. They were like, we've got Mario Tennis Aces and something else. I think it was like Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I was like, guys, it's over.
It's done.
It's toast. We're done. They did a whole thing over this. Like, this is terrible.
Yeah, that's the E3 that you're
Yeah, Star
craving
Fox
for
Zero.
Robbie drums to
Star
come
Fox
back on.
Zero
Like, give
was
us
that-
something. Come on, dude.
It was that direct. I was like, it's done.
That's
Paper Mario Color Splash, and people wanted to commit suicide after they saw that and said, "Where is our Paper Mario?"
That's when we knew next system. We've already
Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, the game that 3 people played, and they still praying for that game.
I don't remember that game took years. It took so long for that game.
Yeah, they're looking for what is it, Devil's Fifth, or what was it, Devil's Third?
Devil's
and they
Third.
wanted Devil's Fourth. Yeah. So I mean, So Mark, have you covered all your things?
For a dead system, I think they're going to hold it off more, but I could be definitely wrong. If they start getting leaks, we could get a trailer earlier, but I still don't think we're going to get like the full details. I can see them dropping a teaser. Literally, they could drop it tomorrow if they think they're going to beat a leak. You know what I mean? Like they think this like magnet thing's going to happen. Like you saw it just happen with Xbox. Like they came on.
I think there's a game or two for this fall, but I think I think because they don't have a lot of things or I think maybe they're saving things. Like there's been a long rumor that they have a Fire Emblem remake. Maybe they put that out now. Fire Emblem releases at all times of the year. Like it doesn't have a customary. It's like kind of whenever they need it. Yep. They could release it now to be like, let's just give them this to hold them over. But if all the rumors are true and they have pushed back the Switch 2 because they want stronger lineup of software, in my head, that signals to me if they have any games of merit that could come out, you would hold them. Like you would hold Wind Waker HD, you would hold a Fire Emblem game, you would hold those things. Like take the hit this fall, so when you launch your new system, all the hype and buzz is there. You've got games coming out one after the other.
So I'm gonna push back on that just really quickly, because if this is supposedly a backwards compatible system, this is like your PS4 to PS5. We aren't starting from scratch.
I'm with you.
Essentially, anybody's coming new to the Switch,
release it now and catch it later. Yeah,
can buy it later. This isn't like where all your games are going to have like a blank slate to work from. So
then let me ask you this: then why delay the system?
Well, it sounds like they're trying to get a healthy like pipeline of actually inventory. And
they said honestly, or at least the rumors.
Like Donnie, if you're talking about the price you're talking about, not everybody's going to jump on this system. It's going to be the early adopters. It's going to be like people. It's not your families that can buy a Wii,
I think Switch 2 sells out in the first 3 months.
Oh, absolutely, it will. The Switch Lite owners, the people that are late to it, there's the people that are still buying Switch brand new in year 7 of the system are not going to buy this new system. They're going to be like, and quite honestly, how long will Nintendo be putting out games that are playable on this version of Switch and the next version of Switch? It could be like the PlayStation 4 or Xbox, where it's like you get 3 years of cross-gen games. And so at that point, it's like they might be looking better, but I can still play them.
This is a great conversation, because I wonder, based on the example that's been set by Series X and PlayStation, if Nintendo goes, we don't want to do that.
Correct.
Because these
they haven't been in this position in a long time, right?
Way. Like they've seen it. They're like, no, we're going to flip the Switch. This is a new console. Like maybe, I don't think they're going to do a whole lot of that. Switch 2 games are Switch 2. Your old games will work, but this is a Switch 2 game. Yeah. And you got to buy new hardware.
100%.
They're very traditional.
Yeah. Would Pokemon do that? Because Pokemon played we're going to keep putting games on the old system, won't come to the new system.
I completely forgot about that.
Will they cut off that we need 30 million sales?
I think you might still see a few Switch games, like a few current Switch games. But I think Donnie's right by and large. Like Nintendo is very, very quickly, way quicker than Xbox or Sony. They are going to be like, you know what? We're focusing on Switch 2.
We're going to have a cutoff.
Your old games will still work. All the old games will come from the Switch, or most of the old games will come from the Switch. But like, we're giving you a year of like, here's this game that'll still work on the old Switch. Here's this. But like, they're doing a hard.
It's Pokemon Legends.
Yeah.
Like when that game was announced, it was said it was coming to Switch systems.
Yeah.
I think that's your crossover title.
Yeah.
They do announce that with the new system. I think it works.
I think we'll see this.
I think
Nintendo will do that. I don't think developers will do that though. I think everybody's a third party will be like we're like PlayStation,
indies and Let's Dance.
Everybody except for Nintendo on Switch 2 day one.
Yeah.
And they'll be like everything else coming. So
indies and stuff will. Now the third parties, I think the reason we're not having a lot of third parties is because of the technical limitations. I think
absolutely.
I think a lot of third parties will make their games Switch 2 only.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, EA hasn't even played.
Yeah, they're not even doing anything.
Within there hasn't been a Madden on a Nintendo console in how many years?
I expect that Madden would show up. That's one of the ones
I would think so too.
That it would come up.
So especially if it's the last game that I want to mention for a launch title or launch window is Starfield. I think that would be a big get for Switch 2. That would
break the internet.
Yeah. And I think that game could use. They just announced there's a few updates for it. There's a few fun surprises coming to the game, but I think that's the kind of buzz that game could use. And I think it's a game that sits well on Switch because it is one of those kind of games that you could just kind of like watch something while you're mindlessly going through a planet or doing this.
Are you positioning Starfield to be like the Skyrim for Switch? Like is the Starfield is the Skyrim
as
for
like
Switch
a whoa, this runs on a tablet? Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's the Mass Effect trilogy. Because we only got Mass Effect 2 on Wii U, and that was it. It was
we've been on Shaq, and I've been trying to guess what that game is because I think there will be one, and I think Elden Ring is the one that comes. I'm like, I could see
Fallout 4.
Oh,
Elden Ring has its new DLC and everything. It all comes wrapped up together. And I think you put Elden Ring in a box and you put it on Switch 2, and I think that gets people excited.
Yep.
And that ran on PS4. That ran on Xbox One.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even that big of a lift, but it's on Switch, and I think that makes it feel like a big deal. Like Skyrim.
Are there any Fallout games on Switch?
Like a big deal. No.
Are there any Fallout?
No Fallout.
So that's what I'm saying. This big series, I think Fallout could be huge on Switch because it, quite honestly, is old. Starfield,
There's
worry
a ton
that
of games just like this. We haven't got a new. None of the Assassin's Creed RPG games are on Switch. A lot of the new games are on. There's a whole bunch of games from this generation that have yet to come over that I think would make a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, and I think you could
Witcher.
get all of them in a launch window. Like
Cyberpunk.
Tons.
Do you imagine if they come up?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it'll finally work.
It
Yeah,
runs,
100%.
Yeah.
Pick a game.
Yeah, because DLSS will probably be a thing on the Switch. If they're using NVIDIA, that means they can take advantage of AI. It'll run better versus using like AMD. Where,
my prediction is that
Xbox.
That's true, and people are still disappointed in it. Because I think what we'll do is we'll use DLSS to upscale 720 to 1080, and we'll use DLSS to upscale 1080 to 1440, and games will mostly still run at 30 frames a second.
Correct, because they can't do ray tracing will be not included, or there'll be some compromises with console, but I think it'll be like we'll get some impossible ports.
I think
we'll get some impossible ports on Switch too.
Output wise, we will probably see things near or slightly below Series S, like output, like the raw output. Digital Foundry be like, it plays at 1440 upscaled checkerboarded at 30. It's kind of like a Series S. And I'm expecting the folks that just go on technical details to make their assumption of hardware, they'll be disappointed. But at the same time, for
Steam Deck doesn't even do that.
Steam Deck can't even do $400 tablet not run the same as my $1,200 iPad Pro?
Exactly. The thing that I'm most excited about personally is I think the game that I'm going to play first on Switch is going to be Breath of the Wild again. Because there have been talks about updates coming to old games. And they're talking about no loading times and 60 frames a second. And if those things are true, and here's the thing we didn't talk about. Does Nintendo release patches or do they release DX versions of games?
I'm thinking DX. I don't think they're going to invest in old. It'll run the way you want it, but if you want the better version, we're going to make this, and then we're going to add in DLC or something to make it special. Because once again, Tears of the Kingdom didn't get any DLC, so how do you sell it again at $70? It's going to look better, and it's also going to have DLC.
The only precedent I can think of is Skyrim for this. So I bought Skyrim on Switch, and then there's the anniversary edition, or there's some shit with like elevated things where you can fish and you can do a few different things, and it's like a $20 upgrade. I don't have to buy the full game again, but there is something, and that's a precedent that's
I'm
set.
expecting them to do upgrade fees. I'm expecting them to take the PlayStation path.
Yeah.
And this is the company that charged us $1 more to play our eShop and Virtual Console games from one to his other. So Nintendo is not going to give it to us for free.
I think they will re-release games, but if you already own it, I think they'll charge us an upgrade fee. And if I can play Breath of the Wild, like just the OG Breath of the Wild, again, all souped up to the latest version, I kind of want to do that more than maybe anything else. I'm like, I can do that again.
I think if they're going to charge us, though, they're going to give you something with it, though. It's not just going to be better visuals. It's going to be like there's more content. So I think that's fine. Even if it's silly, like find the Luigi balloon.
I think for Smash,
Mario Odyssey.
I do think they're going to release an ultimate version of Smash that everything's included for Switch 2. Here's the whole thing. Buy the game. Yeah. I do think that's going to happen.
Yeah. So let's go through mine really quick. I'll just hit these hard. Won't vary. So I'm going to call it.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
1-2 Switch 2 win.
You know what? It's going to be the pack-in game. They finally
1-2 Switch 2, right?
Game.
1-2 Switch 2. The big 2. I love it.
Yeah. So, I guess we're all aligned that it's going to be called the Switch something.
Super Switch.
Are we all aligned? Yes or no?
I don't know. I really don't. We've done, there was these rumors months ago. I've laughed about this ever since I saw it. There was a YouTube survey that went out to people that said, like, where do you like playing games? And it said PlayStation 5, it said Series X. And then one of the options listed on this survey was
Switch.
Switch Attach is what it was called.
Oh, Switch Attach.
And when I saw it, I was like,
magnets.
That's the dumbest name ever. And then you hear that like these Joy-Cons and things magnet to the side of it. I was like, oh my God, is that the name?
I'm calling it Switch Click. I'm calling it Switch Click because the magnets click in.
I think it's going to be something like that. Also, I don't think Nintendo is going to give us what we think we're getting. They never have. Like this Super Switch is such a great name. That's why they're not going to do it.
Oh yeah, Switch Advance
never.
Yeah, like I don't think they're not going to do.
They've never had a numbered console that was not like sensible. They went to the 64. They didn't go like 3. They went 64.
And I do wonder. The only thing that gives me any pause, I think the reason that we're getting the Switch that we're getting, the reason that your Joy-Con works, the reason it's backwards compatible, the reason all these things are happening, is I think Nintendo's under new leadership. This isn't the Iwata Nintendo of 7 years ago. It's different. And I think the new leadership is super conservative to not rock the boat. They don't want a Wii U again. And that is the only thing that gives me any falsehood that maybe they do call it Switch 2. Because guess what? That's super easy to sell. Hey guys, do you love that thing you bought? Here's the next one. It's the new one, Switch 2, and it does all the things you used to love but better.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all your old stuff works.
That's why I'm calling it Switch 2, Donnie. TOO or TU, but it's definitely when you hear it, it says Switch 2. But Nintendo's going to do something goofy and silly.
They're going to screw it up. Like we all know, they're going to screw it up.
But if you go to like the Mexican market, they call it Switch 2. It's like
they just call it the Switch DX.
Like exactly. Nova in other markets, it means don't go.
Super Switch Advance SP DX. Yeah, I think that rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Virtual Switch. There we go. So
to watch the internet burn, I kind of want them to call it the Switch Pro.
Oh, sure. Why not? Yeah.
After all these years and everything,
so it's just a little bit better than my Switch.
Just come out and they're like, it's a Switch Pro. And they even like falsify it. They're like, it's the same system. You're like, what?
Only the Joy-Cons are different. Don't do that. It's only the controllers are different. It's an add-on. No. So really quickly, first reveal, I'm saying this is going to come out essentially in the fall because they don't have a big release. So they're going to make some noise in the middle of everybody else's big releases. So it's probably going to be like the beginning of October, very similar to what they do. It's going to be a trailer. That's all it is. And they'll say, come back for more. Because they don't want to derail any releases they've got, which are minimal, to be honest. And they're not going to push a lot of hardware. And I think that's how we're going to reveal it. The hardware details, quite honestly, I think this is going to be a PS4, Xbox One level hardware set, but it's going to have NVIDIA Voodoo in regards to the software and the AI, which will make it do better things. It will probably get us around 4 hours of battery life, which will be okay, which is good enough. It will dock, which will be cool. So it'll be that hybrid thing again. And I think we're going to be at 350. Wow. And this will be the first time, though.
It'd be a dream.
But they also announce a companion piece. So this will be like the Switch 2 Plus, and it'll be the Switch 2 Solo, or call it something else, where it will be a $250 just only
a light,
basically a handheld.
Yeah, a light.
The light.
You're being very aggressive. This is very aggressive.
Well, I think it's because they know they need to get more boxes out there, and this is the way they do it. They aren't going to get, like, if you price at 400, you're not going to get three. You're not going to get 3 Switches in your household. I don't think you are. They need a way to do this pared down where it's 720p. It's got Joy-Cons, things like that, and it's going to be like, it's going to be scaled down.
So I think all that comes later. I think that comes later, just like the Switch. That's a down the road.
I think they may take a page from Xbox and say, we've got a Series X and a Series S. They may do it. I don't know. I
disagree with you.
350 and that's fine.
But I love the stance. Actually, I'm almost like intrigued that you've.
And that is because, like, I'm thinking
they just sold 140 million of these. I think selling them is the least of their concerns. I think they're like.
No, I think they want to convert. I want to think they want to convert Switch Lite owners and as many family members, and say, "Hey, get it to this," and then buy all our games again.
Those things after they sell 40 or 50 million of them, then they come back.
Like I said, they're conservative. I think they want to convert as many players as they can. So that's how they do it. Yeah, there you go. And that's where we're going. So right now, though, I think the things that they're going to do is that I've heard, I think they're going to have 2 sets. They're going to have 2 sets of Joy-Cons. So they're going to have a regular series and a Pro series of Joy-Cons along with a new Pro controller. Because I think they're going to say, hey, if you want this, you can have it and play how you want to play, but we're going to give you those options because all of the third-party accessories, like what was it? I can't remember all the secondary accessory makers are eating their lunch. PowerA, they're all eating their lunch because they're doing all these versions, and Nintendo's like, we'll give you a different color.
The Nixie ones that are like GameCube ones in there.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm thinking Nintendo will be like, we're going to offer you more varieties with the Joy-Cons because those are extras, but this is what it's going to come with. So I think that's fine. I think the Switch Lite 2, whatever we call it, will be baked in, though. It will be one essentially a hardware piece.
So you got them launching 2 SKUs out of the gate.
Correct. I think so. I think it's possible. Just kind of like they did the Wii U. The
strategy. 8
gigabyte and the whatever.
I was going to ask you. So I have questions. I was going to ask you, what do we think the onboard storage is?
I think they're going to do 128 gig in the big boy, 64 gigs in the takeaway boy, whatever we call it, the light boy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think that's okay, and they'll use SD again. They've got faster cards.
128, that's terrible. But that actually makes me think you're right. Like, more than anything else, I think I was like, damn it, he's probably correct. Because I was thinking it's 256 at the least, 512 would be nice. So you're coming in at 128. It's like, yeah, he's probably right.
Donnie, they're going to launch and they're going to say, you can partner with our PNY and
they're going to be like, it doesn't have any storage at all. You have to buy
have colors. Exactly. They'll have colors you can get. It'll be Nintendo. It'll be like Splatoon branded SD cards. So we'll be covered with that. I think we're going to have those things. Backwards compatibility, I think that's a no-brainer. Hopefully, what we see is that everything transfers over easily. The biggest thing will be, I think they will launch a new version of Nintendo Online that will incorporate odd, weird additions. So we're going to do like the TurboGrafx 16 and things like that to give you more value, because I think they have to do something, but I think they're hesitant to do like, here's more, like here's the GameCube, but we might do Virtual Boy. We might do something else. So I don't think they're going to give you like the big boys, but they're going to give you something else with the Nintendo Online system, because they have to grow it, because they can't be like, we're launching over again. Here's 3 games. So I think they're going to be additive.
I want to piggyback off of that, because the other question I was going to ask, my last question, I'm positive. I think there's some Nintendo sauce here that's going to make this thing feel different and special. And on my podcast, I've postulated that I do think it's going to be something like themes or add-ons or stickers or something like that. I think maybe they're going to relaunch like a new Nintendo app. And maybe some of the NSO stuff comes to the phone, or maybe they do some sort of cross thing. I think maybe this doesn't come at launch. I want to preface this, but I think during the Switch 2 generation, I do think we see Nintendo branch out to things that aren't just their own hardware. They find a way to like try to bridge the two together in small ways. I'm not saying they're going mobile, but I wouldn't be surprised if I've been on this bandwagon for a long time that Switch Online should come to phones. Yeah. Like you see it right now. iOS has emulation. People are playing Kirby and Pokemon for free. Nintendo needs to monetize that. Yep. And I'm wondering if there might be some sort of play here where they're like, hey, and the Switch works better with your phone than ever before. And I'm thinking things like Street Pass, Nintendo Magic.
Just gonna say Street Pass on a phone.
That's where I'm at. I'm thinking like little ways that Nintendo can Nintendo-fy this thing to make you want to buy the new one. Like, hey, we've got themes. Hey, it does this. Hey, it works on your phone. Hey, it does Street Pass. It has these games. But Mario 3 on your phone. Things like that.
I got you covered. Because it's going to be Discord is integrated. You're going to get, if you own Discord Nintendo, it's going to become Nintendo like stickers and icons within Discord. It's going to use that for its online, basically communication. People? And then it's also going to include a camera. Yeah. Because the Switch has not had a camera. Nintendo has had cameras.
And it's also going to have AR. For this. They're going to play with AR. That's not where I was thinking.
Just like 3DS. They're going to do AR. Yes.
What I was teeing you up for, what I was hoping you were going to grab, I think you're going to be able to stream from the Switch directly.
Ooh. All right.
I think they're going to be like, you can stream directly to Twitch, to YouTube, to Discord, like whatever your platform is. I think there's an evolution of the share button. And there is a camera on the Switch, and like you can play your games, put your camera in the corner and just.
But Donnie, it's going to be like, as awesome as that is, we're going to do the Nintendo version of it, which is going to be like.
Busted.
What the F?
100%. Yeah,
it's gonna be like
better than like the Splatoon wireframe diagram of headphones and shit.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
But I think there's an evolution of something there that nobody really wants.
It'll have Switch chat, which will be an Alexa. Nintendo, it'll look like a mushroom, Mario mushroom. It'll be like Switch chat. It's there.
Imagine like Switch AI with like Isabelle or something like pops up.
Absolutely. Hey, and it's the voice of Mario. And then you take your Switch to Universal Studios and it does all crazy things and gives you like those filters
Ultimately, the point that I've been making is I think because the system is going to be so samey and similar to what we were expecting, I feel like there's maybe a little pizzazz that's missing from it. And I think they're going to make that up with like very small software things that make people
Donnie,
excited.
It's launching with Netflix. Biggest announcement ever.
Hey, you laugh, but like I do think there's probably a lot to that. Like, they may have some app partners and stuff.
And so to cover this off, launch games, I think we are getting a Mario Kart game, not at launch, but I think we're getting that in that window. It's going to be called Nintendo Kart, where it's going to expand to all the Nintendo carries.
I like Crossroads. I've seen that a bunch.
X-Roads. Why not? Yeah. We are also going to get like a wacky, like one-off, like Captain Toad's,
Stretchers.
Like Stretchers. Yes, too. We're going to do that. Yes, we're going to bring that back.
Nipper clips, baby. Run it back.
Yep, and I think Metroid Prime is going to be that game that brings in the early adopters, but it's also cross-gen. Yeah. And I think it becomes like their Breath of the Wild. But I don't think they need much.
So I think the 3D Mario is the Breath of the Wild. I do like the Metroid. I think you get Metroid Prime in the launch window because if there was ever an opportunity to freaking sell a Metroid game, it's at a system launch. Because people will buy it just because there's not a lot of things to buy. Yeah. And I think I
would love a Mario at launch. A Mario 3D new game at launch. They haven't done that in years.
That many people. Yeah. Like just the not the character, just the design of the game. Just the game style. You're never going to get 10, 15 million people.
I think that plays into Todd's fact of like you sell it to the Switch people. It's enhanced for Switch 2. That's your cross-gen platform or your cross-gen title.
I do think you use it to make a
Mario
showcase.
Game is just Switch 2, not backwards.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do think at the reveal, I wouldn't be surprised if the very first game we see is Metroid. because they're going to want to. They're going to want to show it off.
Yeah, kind of like we saw Odyssey at in the trailer, and it's like it didn't come out until the fall because everybody wants to play a Mario game, but it's like the people that really want to play a Metroid game are there, and that's why I'm thinking
you could see a Switch showcase for the Switch 2, whatever they call it, and like the first thing we see is like a gleam off of a helmet of this metallic-y surface of Samus, and people get excited, and it's Metroid Prime.
Zooms out, and she's on a jet ski, and it's Wave Race.
No, and I think it's third-person Metroid. I think it's third person. I don't think it's first person anymore.
Wow.
Prime is going to be a third-person game. I think it's it's really going to be different, and it's going to be changing up the formula again because we've already had 3 of the first person. I think it's going to be a third person, do something completely different, and I think it's going to take advantage of something in the game that will do something different with the controllers. And I think that leads into my launch date, which is a March release date because it's a dead time. They can get that. They can
do it on my birthday.
Go after. Absolutely, why not? My birthday is on April 16th, so I can save up on my money, my gift. I can get it early, and I think it satisfies the early adopters. They can build a supply for the fall, like they did, which was a perfect launch of the Switch. And then at that point, I think that's what we're going to do. So last thing we do here, because I think it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time with the system. I also think hopefully they launch the system in more than just a black. I hope they do multiple colors. I also hope they do a Pro controller with themes if they do it. Because we've got one. Pro controllers have been a complete disappointment with one color. We got maybe some special designs.
Well, hang on. That's not true. We got the Splatoon one,
3
the Mario Kart one.
Xenogears.
Not the Mario Kart one. Yeah. We had the Monster Hunter one. We had the Zelda one. We had the Monster Hunter one. We've had some Pro controllers.
Nintendo is the worst system for custom things. If you look at Xbox, what they do, they're wonderful. Nintendo's like, hey, it's going to be ugly color sticks, and it's going to be a one weird design.
System. It's the only Xbox they've done. It's the one.
No, not the console, the controllers.
Oh, they have a
Xbox nails controllers because they do a billion. But okay, last thing, really quick. What is the name of the console?
I don't know.
I'm locking it at Super Switch. I know it's not going to be, but I'm locking it at Super Switch.
I'm going to take the easy bait. I'm going to say it's going to be Switch 2.
Like numeral 2?
Sure. You know what?
Roman numeral 2?
Number 2.
They're getting rid of the Switch name. They're calling it Nintendo Click.
Yeah, that's what they're not doing.
Because of the magnets.
The Click is good. Like Switch Click.
I like the Click. I like the Click.
But like Switch Click, I don't know.
It's really either you put a numeral next to it,
we saw the Switch attach, right? Like the Switch attach, the things attached to it. Like I hate it, but like it makes sense.
Yeah.
I want to say they're all in a boardroom. They've got all these adjectives. They go through them all, and then somebody, a voice of reason, pipes up from the end of the table, and they go, "Guys, just call it the Switch 2," and they go, "Fine, we'll just do that." Like that's what I want it to be, but I don't know.
Good job, Mark. You dropped your mic.
I put a timestamp in there so I can hopefully erase the audio.
Yeah,
I think it's great. I think it adds realism to it.
Good.
Yeah,
the new.
I'm calling it Switch 2 TOO.
All right.
There you go. Covers both. So that is it for our show. Holy crap, this was a long one, folks. So you stayed on. You got the full Donnie, and that's what we wanted.
You did this to yourselves. You invited me.
I did it. I asked for it, and I got
nobody to blame but yourself.
I got full Donnie. So there you go.
Have been happier.
Donnie's been in a hot tub, so he's ready, relaxed.
I got nothing to do. I'm going to play games after this. You've got the best of me. I have nothing else to do.
Oh, my God.
You have to work and stuff tomorrow. I don't.
Mark's going to collapse. Oh, my God. After all those fumes.
I'm good. We can do a post-show, after show, little
go.
DLC for the Secret Friends. I'm here for it.
Almost 1 a.m.
That's right. You guys holy crap. That's right. That's right. Donnie does that show with Sean Cree where it goes like 4 hours. So, yeah. We should have been warned. Oh, well. With that, we are done. Hopefully, folks, you parsed away what you expect from our launch of the Switch successor, and hopefully you had a good time. With that, Donnie, tell people where they can find you across the internet.
We're pretty easy. Just Google PSVG. Literally just those letters. You'll find my podcast. Play some video games every week on Wednesday. The Nintendo Shack, recorded live every Sunday morning, goes out every Sunday afternoon. Be with us on the ride to Switch 2 or the Super Switch or the Switch Attached, or whatever the hell they call it. Myself, Delvin, and Rebecca will be counting down weekly. And if there are no games that come out until next March, we'll be there every week to talk about all these games that are coming out. So come join us and enjoy some good stuff.
Great times. You guys are awesome. We love Delvin. We love the team. Thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank you.
Mark.
Yes. You can find me mostly on Instagram and Threads at Canardian_gamer or Canardian_Jedi, depending on which facet of my life you feel like following, or you can get it all over at the Secret Friends Unite Discord channel. So drop in there and give me some controller recommendations. I still
not that one you brought up earlier.
For the
not that one. Don't do that.
Check out for Mark's Mako coverage.
Jesus, fellas. Yeah, follow me there.
That's what they should have called it.
Make it your own, Mark. You know it. Don't deny yourself. We love it. Ugh. Excellent. So yeah, follow Mark and his Mako check.
Yes,
we love it. Yes. Watch out for us. We're dangerous. That's what we do on the internet. Well, for me, at Secret Friends U, actually at Secret Friends Unite and Teoxtra on Threads, at Teoxtra and at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Check out our Discord. And Charlie would be mad if I didn't announce that we actually have an email address that you can send us question, secretfriendsunite@gmail.com. So with that, thank you all. Check out our Patreon. Have a good time. Play some video games. And remember, folks, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.